we've started the stream. Okay. Wow. Crazy.
Yay.
Very underwhelming. All right. So. Oh. I'm getting my own. Thing back to me. There it is. All right. There we are. We're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. It's normal to do all this stuff on the fly. Don't worry about it. Oh yeah, there it is. And tweeted that out.
Okay, let me refresh.
Yeah. Where did I just get an app from? Okay. Let's see. And I'm also gonna, because I can. Yo, Yujiro, how's it going? We're doing professional things. Hold on a second. I'm also gonna post in Yosh's Discord because there's the allies thing. Fibs master, perfect. There we go. Okay, I think that's everything. Yeah. Hold now.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah, we're fine. We're fine. Okay. Hi. Welcome to stream, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about anime with special guest TinyGh0st or Ghosty. How's it going, Ghosty?
It's going. It sure is.
It sure is a thing that's going. Here, there we go. I'm gonna move you over here on this side so it doesn't block the chat. There we go. You're fine. It's weird having like a little PNG thing next to me.
Yeah.
It's in real life. Wow, look at it. Oh my god.
And now I'm not like staring off the screen. Now I'm kind of like joining the conversation here.
Exactly. You're a member of this conversation instead of wistfully looking out into the darkness. Oh god. All right. So we want to talk about some anime hot takes. Because I think
diving right in, aren't you?
Oh yeah, no. All right, we'll get to the one in a second. But we got I wanted to do this stream after I saw you do your tier list on your stream, TinyGh0st at twitch.tv. And I really wanted to just like go over. First off, I want to go over what you have as your tier list, and then I want to see, and then I kind of just want to like do a tier list together, and just like talk about different kinds of anime or like whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see. Hold on a second. I need to update the guest thing, but yeah. So, what words escape me.
What are my top?
Yeah, what's your tops? What was your top?
Okay.
Tier?
I don't know if I still have the exact tier list, but I'm just gonna give it to you from memory.
Yeah.
Because I remember a lot of them. So, in my god tier list, I definitely had one was Demon Slayer.
Right.
That's the most modern one, I would say, that was in my top. Very good. Loved it immediately. I watched Demon Slayer after a lot of people had already seen it. I was like very late to the party, and I was like, everybody's hyping it up. It's probably not that good.
Yeah.
And then so for the longest time I didn't give it a chance, and then finally I watched it and I was like, oh my god, I haven't felt this hype for something in a long time.
They do a really good job of hyping you up for that show. Like,
so
how much have you seen so far? Are you caught up?
I am not caught up with season 2. I have seen all of season 1 and the movie.
Right.
But I really am a sucker for like a zero to hero type kind of arc where it's not just, oh, I'm somebody with special powers of special things. It's art. Like, we already have this character who's like an established hard worker and somebody who is like arguably really weak, but like progressively gets stronger. And what I also like is we do get to see him fail sometimes, which I think is really important to storytelling that not a lot of anime have done. Like recently, I feel like a lot of it's like power trippy anime.
Right. Yeah.
But that blew me away, especially episode 19. If you haven't seen episode 19, watch Demon Slayer all the way up to episode 19.
Oh god.
That shit blew my socks off.
Yeah. There is some. That's one of the things that also is like Demon Slayer. I think is a really great example of like having an incredible like synthesized story. Like I've always said that like one of the things that makes Demon Slayer the best is its pacing. Like it's one of the best paced anime ever, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. It takes like everything you get from like a shonen anime, and like the first like what would normally be like the first 5 or 10 episodes is 2, right? And it just gets you right to the point that you really actually care about. Right? You don't need to go all the way through this arc. You don't need to learn all about their like tragic backstory or like side characters. It gets you right to what you need, and like starts you off there. And and then you go along with it. It has some of the best animation out there right now. Like, cause it's what's it? UFO Table, and UFO Table is just like UFO Table's one of the top studios out there, and like since I know them from like their Fate Zero adaptation, which also has crazy animation, but like. They have such a crazy blending of like 3D and 2D animation that you've not seen like the way it's used in Demon Slayer. You haven't seen that in anime really.
It's very well done.
Yeah,
in my personal opinion, it's very like it doesn't look like fake 3D, if that makes sense.
No, yeah,
because usually you can tell, you know, and there's like a definite like separation, but they did it really well.
Yeah. Sorry. Hi, Xana. How's it going? Yeah, Ghosty has a really great PNG. But yeah, it's like it's crazy because like the they have like in season 1 is where I noticed it most. There's like some moments you can like be like, oh, it's a 3D model, it's a little jarring. But like most of those moments are like in like walking scenes or like kind of like far out, and you don't really care. Like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
At any point.
Like trees.
Yeah. Yeah. And any kind of action scene, you don't notice it at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the action scenes for me were so well done, and they were each I think like the big thing is I'm very into like very plot heavy and like good storyline stuff. I think the storyline is very good. It has a lot of nuance. There's a lot of things that you can discuss within Demon Slayer that are like just like you can theorize about it like all the time. So like for example how TinyGh0st views demons as still people, whereas other people just view them as demons, right? And like all of the nuance that comes with that, which is cool, you know, and like how he's a more merciful person too, and like all the good that's in the world versus like a lot of bad, and like that kind of stuff. It does have some tropey things with like Zenitsu and stuff, but I think it's pretty well done.
I think it sometimes leans a lot into a lot of those tropey jokes here, and Zenitsu in season 1, especially like in the one major arc where it's like all 3 characters, like the 3 main cast together, where it's Inonosuke, Tanjiro, and Zenitsu together. That's really he can be really grating there, but like I think they improved on that as the series went on. But even with that kind of like typical kind of anime humor, you still get really good amount of humor. Like you get a really good amount of like other kind of just funny situational humor, or humor that's not like I don't think you've really ever gotten any kind of like
punchlines are good.
Yeah,
like the way that they space it out. In my personal opinion, a huge thing. I won't go into spoilers in case anybody has not watched the movie. But I thought Zenitsu, given the power of like the first person that they fight.
Mhm.
I thought Zenitsu was going to have a much larger role in that particular, against that particular antagonist.
Yeah.
And he didn't, and I was
No.
like, this would have been perfect. What the hell?
Yeah, I'd say Zenitsu is a character who needs more character growth to like get where I think where they'll be like really balanced. So I think if you at the end of like the Entertainment District arc, I think that's developed a lot. But yeah, I mean, still even then, it's like he needs more to him. But I mean, still overall, like we kind of glossed over what the best boy in the show, which is Inosuke.
Oh my god, the best boy. I have like a shirt with him on it. I love that boy.
He is like the most dumbest feral child.
I love dumb himbos, and he's like the ultimate dumb himbo.
He's so good at that role.
He is. And I just love how when people are nice to him, he just gets kind of like mad about it. He's just like, ugh. And he does like the weird fuzzy feelings. He's just like, get fucked, grandma. But he like is happy.
He has no idea how to process. He has no idea how to process the information he's being given. He's like, it's anger. It's anger. I don't understand it.
He's like, I don't know what this is. Stupid fuzzy feelings. For president. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. I also, this is just stupid, but I love he gets new swords after the Spider arc, and like just the fact that he himself purposely chips his swords is hilarious to me, because like they introduce him and he just has like 2 chipped swords, and I just assumed like he did that over time, but no, he just right away just chips them immediately on purpose.
He's like, better. The sword dude's like, what the hell? I'm gonna kill you.
It's also one thing I'd say. It's like it's one of the shows. I love how he sees all the friendly female characters as a kind of mom role model. Yeah. I think one of the things that's actually really good about the show is that it doesn't lean into kind of having like a lot of anime has like the butt of its jokes being something pervy, right? I don't remember that happening in Demon Slayer much at all.
Not too much, aside from the Zenitsu stuff. And even then, it's not as bad as other ones are, where it's like, oh no, like here's an upskirt shot.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not creepy with it, you know. It's just, as an anime, it's just a perfect distillation of what you want out of a shonen, animated better than like. It's one of the most animated better than most anime out there are. I think it might be one of the best animated anime shows right now. Like,
I agree. I agree with that.
The leap in technology that you're seeing from UFO Table in it is crazy. And also, the thing that makes those action scenes that much better, the music, like the original music they use, it's.
Oh hell yeah!
It
gets stuck in your head.
It just has that kind of like operatic like music. Or that kind of thing, like gets in your throat and your chest. You're like, yeah, I need this.
Yeah, exactly.
it's time for fighting. It balances it so well. It hypes me up. Yeah.
It hypes me up a lot. So I found the tier list that I did, but it's not filled in or whatever. So I've been like refilling it in with because I remember a lot of these. I remember you were like, why is One Piece not in Masterpiece? And why is it just in Great? Which is like the second tier, which is not bad. That's still amazing.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But I have, for my Masterpiece ones, I have Demon Slayer.
Of course.
I have Cowboy Bebop, not the live action.
Are you saying the live action one didn't live up to your expectations?
I watched the whole thing. It was... Because I was like, I just have to do it, right? I have to do it at least once. And I was like, this is the most god-awful shit I've ever seen. Is live action is anime? Yeah. But the person who played Jet in the live action literally carried it. He was so
did.
good. If they ever remake it, he should be in it. I thought what's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? The guy who played Spike. I thought he did a decent job.
What's his?
I think Faye was a little too. I don't know. Something about Faye just didn't feel Faye to me.
Yeah, it felt like they were trying a little too hard on that. I blame the writing for that though. Like John Cho, yeah, that's it.
John Cho, yep. I thought he did pretty decently, but I think they made Faye like
they gave her like
too aggressive in the sense of like she's aggressive with the guys, but then she's like this like femme fatale sort of seductress type, right?
Yeah, right.
With everything else.
Like,
Yeah.
she doesn't really play the same role that she normally does. And it feels like they try to give her, like... The one thing that's always the most annoying is, like, everyone tries to do, like, the Joss Whedon, Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of, like, quippy character stuff, you know? And she was the designated character for that, it felt like. And that humor just didn't work.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I did, yeah. I did a video on it.
Oh, God. Oh, okay. I have to watch it. I have to watch it because it is the worst. What did you think about the ending? The twist. Because I wanted to die.
I didn't.
No.
No.
Yep, it's bad.
No. I hated the I hated their insistence on like having things that weren't like I can completely understand an adaptation of a show doing something different, and like their addition of like having more of the like the gang backstory life in there, like I understand that makes sense. Having it be
the skeleton of the plot.
Yeah. It's like the entirety, like it's like so much of what the plot is episode to episode, and it's grating. It's really grating. They also ruined like I won't say like God, I can't, his name is escaping me. The main villain for the series.
Vicious.
They butchered him.
I made a tweet when I saw him for the first time, and I was like, look how they've butchered my boy, like with like little Godfather meme. Look at how they massacred my boy.
What have they done to him? They like someone must have had like a vendetta against him, or like against like stoic characters, you know? Like again, I can understand he doesn't have any character in the original show, but like he's not really supposed to. He's just supposed to be like,
don't call me less of a man. Don't call me not manly or whatever his fucking shit was. He's got like this.
They changed him to being like a spoiled child energy, you know, and it does not work.
Weird. And like daddy issues.
He's got like daddy issues.
Like, where he's supposed to be like this kind of cold, stoic murderer, right?
Yeah.
I also think it sucks because I think the actor that they got for him, he's a great actor. They just put him in like the wrong role, and also the cosplay wig was not great.
No, the wig was terrible. The wig was really bad. It was distracting. Like, this is like the thing of like, I've had this opinion on like, I talk about this in my video, but like, my opinion on like anime live action adaptations is that they can be done well. It just depends on the series, really. And I think one of the things that like, there's like some series that have done well being turned into live action shows, but the majority of those have been like dramas, like high school dramas, things that don't really require a lot of real intense animation, you know? Like a show I think could I think you could turn like Initial D into a really good live action series. I think you could turn GTO is one of the things, like you could turn those into into actual quality live action series and get what you want out of those, because like you're not so animation heavy. Like one of the problems with Initial D is its reliance on being on like 3D animation, because they can't animate the cars fully
Mhm.
at the time.
Mhm.
And like you can do things like that, you know, that are more based in interpersonal drama, and they work out fine. But like the things they always try to turn into live action is like Full Metal Alchemist, Mob Psycho,
Mhm.
Attack on Titan, Cowboy Bebop. All these shows that have like really intense, amazing, gorgeous animation and design and styles to them, you know, that are iconic. But you can't replicate that in like a live action setting. So you're stuck
You
trying
definitely
to.
cannot.
So
Yep.
you're stuck trying to like change and adapt a story into working to a format that it doesn't really work in. Yeah, and you
I
don't
think
get any
instead
of the
of doing
style and
live,
aesthetic from it.
I think instead of like doing live action, had they done like even just a 3D rendition, you know how like Square Enix did Advent Children, where it was like that kind of hyper realistic sort of 3D animation, I think it would have been halfway decent, I guess. Or at least better than putting these poor guys in bad wigs.
Yeah, the wigs, the wigs is like one of the things that gets me. It's just like you can't actually you cannot interpret a character that is like from these series one for one in a lot of cases. But like I'm not gonna I guess it was spoiled out on Twitter a lot, but like this isn't really even a spoiler because it has no effect on the story of the actual live action series. But the way they do why is the kid's name escaping me?
Oh God, Ed.
Yeah, Ed. The way they do Ed is a complete travesty. It's a complete travesty because like
God.
I feel so bad for that kid. Like the way the things that they told that kid to do, I feel so goddamn bad for them because like there's no way that was ever going to come across great. And like they tried to have a character act like a Looney Tune in live action, and like why would you want to do that? That's not going to work.
It was so not great. A big issue I also had was the way that they did what was their name? I think Grimm? Hold on. I gotta look it up.
It's just like I just don't understand. Like
Gren.
Yeah. Gren gets from having 2 great episodes to being a background character.
And also, like, something I didn't like is that Gren was reduced to a trans stereotype in the live action.
Yeah.
Where it was basically they reduced Gren and all the nuance that came with that episode because it's a Gren is someone who is, I guess, essentially trans, but they live on a planet of all men. So it's dangerous for them, right? And so they're like still disguised as a male. But they're technically kind of like, I guess, non-binary.
Yeah. It's hard to describe.
What they did, yes, and like in the live action, they reduce Gren to like a very heavy stereotype of queer and trans people, where it kind of Gren ends up looking just like a man in a dress half the time, and I was like, that does such a disservice to the character and also reduces the point. And also, it's like kind of insulting to queer people too.
Yeah, I mean, like it's this thing of like it takes like a character that has like a lot of complicated feelings about their situation in life, and turns it instead to being the sassy character that has the sassy lines. And it's like, okay, well,
yep.
You just like the thing that I had a problem with it is like it just turns it into a typical American sci-fi drama comedy, you know? It feels so generically American, you know? Like an underwhelming American show. Like all the characters are like changed and swapped to like fit into this stereotype of being like an elevated CW show, kind of like, you know?
It reminded me of a CW show.
Yeah. It's like, you know, you're not adapting Cowboy Bebop at that point. You're just doing whatever you want, you know, with like and saying like pretending that the characters that you're using are the same, you know. It's like I don't know. We could go on and on about this, but it's like it's a bad series. Original Cowboy Bebop's great though. Because it's
original Cowboy Bebop is top tier, which is why it was on my masterpiece. Because it is classic. I can rewatch it today and still be very happy with it. And so I think that's another thing. Is like it's time. Mob Psycho 100 was another one.
Mob Psycho's amazing. I love Mob Psycho as well. I also have a video on that. But Connor, it makes us money for the execs if we just make reboots and sequels. That is the problem. The thing with like, this will be the last thing I'm going to say about like the live action stuff. One of the things that I think really propels this stuff to get made is one, you know, they know fans are going to eat it up. It's going to appeal to people who have no idea what the series is, which is like the main people they want to actually like it. They don't care if fans watch it. They know they'll watch it to either hate it or to hate it and complain about it, or to like mildly praise it, you know, or like have a discussion about it. They know these things will be talked about. They know they'll be discussed, and you know them being discussed even negatively or positively will lead them to get views, whether negative or positive, because they don't really care. You know,
free promo. Yeah,
exactly. And like Japan does it for different reasons. Like the Japan live action ones are just. Those are just like those are just like weird cash grabs, you know.
Yeah. I saw the Full Metal Alchemist one, and I was like, "This is weird."
Yeah, it's really.
This
weird.
is very weird.
It's really weird. I don't quite understand what they were doing with that, but, you know, that's up to them. That's up to them, I guess. I don't know. It's just, it didn't work anyway. But yeah, Mob Psycho 100 is one of my favorite anime as well. I gotta also put that at like top tier. That's one of my. I love. Season 1's amazing. And like it has. I love One Punch Man, right, which is the series, the series creators series before that, right? And like Mob Psycho is able to take like what was great about One Punch Man, which is having like an overpowered character, in like who seems underwhelming, and turn that into being like. Making Mob, right? They have an overpowered character who seems underwhelming, but also is really insecure about himself and uncomfortable with like his powers and like who he is as a person, and like his personal growth through the series is like such a huge point, and you see improvement of him over time. It's so the way they work with that is amazing.
I love it. I also really love how. In his efforts to improve himself, he joins the track squad or the muscle squad,
body improvement club.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they treat him so well and like love him for it.
Yeah.
They just want to help. And I like that they break that stereotype of like the jock types being like assholes, and they make them like, no, dude, yeah, that's so good. You can get up. It's fine. We're gonna help you.
Exactly. It's like that. You have like, and like. The first episode, like where they're like reacting to him, right? You just have this like sense of just like of pure camaraderie and like respect towards Mob, because like they understand that he's not as strong as them, but he's still trying, and like that's all they care about. That he keeps trying and keeps pushing himself, and they always have his back, and it's what they makes them the best school club in all of anime, in my opinion. They are so consistently just nice, chill dudes who represent a really positive idea of masculinity, and I love that's one of my favorite aspects of the series as well. It's also, I think, more accurate, to be honest, because like my personal experience, while there's a lot of dudes in weightlifting culture who are really assholes, the majority of people are like pretty chill and like genuinely try to help you out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and like this like stereotype about that, like breaking that stereotype, I thought was really valuable. Yeah. And also just like I don't know, You can also just like see from his being in the club, you see that like affects how it affects him in other parts of his life, and like how he grows in that. And it's season 1 is great. Season 2 it tops that, I think, as well. And season 3 is coming soon. I cannot wait for that. That's my most anticipated anime right now.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. The hype is real. And I love... Mob Psycho actually has one of my favorite animated scenes in it as well. It is, I believe, episode like 4 or 6 something, but it's... I don't know how many people in the chat have seen it, but it is takes place when in the alleyway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it has the same kind of animation... Or I love the sketchy animation where like they put a lot of thought and effort into like how they animate fight scenes. And I'm obsessed when it gets into like the sketchy mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
where
I do. Yeah.
Where it's like almost like black and white, or like it's just pencil lines and stuff. I love it.
There's like the animation feels like it's unable to catch up to how, like, if it's like the animation at that point gives an impression that it's unable to catch up with how intense the scene is, you know, and it makes it feel all that more impactful. I also love how it does have like thicker black lines around each character, so it looks more and more like an actual like gag anime instead of like a typical kind of like action anime. Like if you look at the lines for characters, the outlines for characters between like One Punch Man and Mob Psycho, you see like they're a lot thicker in Mob Psycho, and like they're able to like be more free and floaty with like how they do like faces and expressions. Like Reagan especially, like Reagan's movements and expressions that he goes through visually are just amazing. I don't know. It's great.
I love Mob so much. The other 3 I have listed in Masterpiece are 1, Parasite, 2, Dragon Ball Super, which in my opinion is fucking amazing, and I'm almost done with it. I have 10 episodes left. And then Hunter x Hunter, which I have not completed. But it's already like one of the greats for me. So I'm really digging on it right now. With Hunter x Hunter, it's always been like low masterpiece or high great for me, but I assume that once I continue, it'll either fall into one.
So, yeah. So, with Hunter x Hunter, I haven't seen fully. I've seen like a lot of it, but like in parts. Like, you know, my partner at the time was watching it while I was like editing videos. So like I'd come in and it's like a different episode. And I wasn't able to like keep track of the story that much. So like I got a general impression from it. I liked it a lot. I want to rewatch it, but like I haven't had time for it. Parasite, I wouldn't put Parasite as high. I like Parasite a lot. I wouldn't put it as high. And I have not had the time for Dragon Ball Super. I wish I did. God. It's just there's so many episodes still.
It's so fun, I would say. It's so fun. They really lean. So like if you go in and expecting nothing, it'll be like the best thing ever because it's just dumb himbo Goku. And a lot of like very goofy plots. We get to see good husband Vegeta and just get like some really hype fights and stuff. So that's exciting. Parasite, I think I ranked highly because of how at the time that it came out, I think that, let me see when it came out. I think I was just not as into whatever came out around that time. Let me see.
Oh yeah, there wasn't a lot great in that era. I'm actually gonna, I found a tier list. I'm actually gonna, whoop. There we go. Hi. All right. Yeah, Parasite, it also has like kind of the symptom of like like early 2000s kind of digital animation, where like the texturing of characters feels really bland to me. So like visually, I didn't find it as interesting for a number in a few respects. I'm gonna pause this here because the music's starting to get to me. But I visually didn't find it as interesting. It had like the same problem as like Death Note does. Like I love Death Note and I think its art style is really cool. But like there's like a visual kind of like mushiness with the characters' skin tones. Maybe it's a Madhouse thing, but I think it was a general thing that I saw in most digital animation at the time. Animation's improved a lot since then, but like that's one thing that sticks in my mind with it. I do like the series a lot though. Like it's a good series.
I think for me a huge thing was the story and like the level. So a lot of times I'll judge anime based on how I feel watching it and how like affected I am by it. So with Parasite, a lot of it was the eeriness of it. So like the plot, because I hate the way Migi looks, like his hand. I was like, this is stupid. He's a hand with lips.
Yeah.
But the way that people would come apart, the way that you'd get anxious about his family and friends and like the anxiety of not knowing who is who and who you can trust and all this other shit, and like if you're gonna die, I think that affected me a lot. And so at the time, which I think was like 2014, I don't know. It got me. It got me, dude. I love the dark stuff, so I think that's why.
Right.
I just thought of a masterpiece one that is not on my tier list, but is one of my favorite animes of all time. It is Oremonogatari, which is my love story.
Oh, right.
I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not actually. I know about it. I haven't seen it myself, unfortunately.
Highly, highly, highly recommend. It is, if you are having a bad day, you watch that, and that is like such good serotonin.
Right. Isn't that like the one where like it's like the big dude's in love with like the
really tiny cute girl?
Yeah. And he's like a big imposing dude who's like giant. I've seen some scenes from that. It seems like a really fun show. I just have not had a chance to watch it yet.
He's just like a super big, nice dude who's kind of like goofy looking. And he has a best friend who is like super handsome. And he's like, well, nobody could be in love with me.
Right.
Like, it's just a very, very good series in my personal opinion.
That's great. I do want to. It does seem like a really fun series. I've wanted to watch it. Like, it's not like a thing like I've been avoiding it. It's just like, it's hard. It's hard.
There's a backlog of anime I need to watch, and it's basically all of them. I've not seen enough.
My problem that I keep coming up with is like I cover seasonal anime, so I keep having to watch the new stuff, and then cover that, and then I don't have time as much to go back. Like I'll get like a few weeks here and there to like go back a bit and like binge a few older series, but like even then it's hard to find that time.
I can't think. Oh, Rurouni Kenshin is another masterpiece one. I think part of it is nostalgia goggles. And part of it is I really, really loved it as a story. Hate the creator because I guess the creator is kind of the psycho.
Oh yeah, the creator sucks.
But it stinks because it's like here was a series that I loved so dearly, but now I'm like, like
yeah.
I can't necessarily look at it the same way, but I do know that it was something that was huge for me. So sad.
Yeah, it really sucks when a creator just turns out to be a complete pile of garbage. It's just like you have something that's like really, really good. Like Rurouni Kenshin stylistically, and you know, I think it probably is part of nostalgia goggles because I do remember it from the Toonami time and loving that show. But like stylistically, it's incredible. It is a fun world. It's cool to see people and like, you know, that kind of like modernizing. It's also one I didn't talk about this much with Demon Slayer, but I really love that Demon Slayer is set in like the modernizing part of Japan you know?
Yep.
Things are like
Yep.
becoming
Where
modern.
things are
Yeah.
like westernizing and stuff. Yeah.
And like Rurouni Kenshin's another series in that same area. But yeah, it is unfortunate. It is unfortunate the people behind it suck. And even if I think they're doing a new adaptation. I'm not gonna watch it. Unfortunately, I can't watch it because it's gonna support the original guy. It sucks. It sucks, but
well, that's kind of how I felt about like. I mean, it's sort of like what I consider like Harry Potter syndrome, right? Like I was like, wow, that was a story I loved until I stopped.
Yeah, it was just. I'm like, oh, that was great. Oh, what's J.K. Rowling tweeting about? Oh, well, I'm not buying anything Harry Potter again. Actually, I can. Yeah. Okay. So actually, I have a tier list pulled up here. I've just been like sorting out while we're talking, putting things in the never watched stuff. But because you mentioned it earlier, I kind of want to talk about this part. One Piece. So you have One Piece as like an A tier anime, right? Yeah. How far into One Piece are you? Like, what part are you at right now, or like what arc?
Halfway through Doflamingo.
Okay. So yeah, you're pretty far in at this point. Okay. What are your feelings about it, and like what holds it back for you?
So I think it's a lot of like really nitpicky stuff that holds it back, but I think like all of the characters are great. I think the plot is great. I think along the lines, I think it might have been when Oda married the Nami cosplayer, but so it actually used to be in Masterpiece for me. And this is gonna sound so trivial, but it means a lot to me. So, One Piece was actually what I like sort of studied in when I was in college, because it is the best, especially early on. We're taught that animation is like the best animations are when you can put like black out somebody, sort of like when you can put them behind a silhouette and you can tell who it is.
Right.
And One Piece's characters, you can do that with almost every single person.
Oh, yeah.
If you silhouetted Buggy, if you silhouetted Luffy, if you silhouetted Zoro, you would know exactly who those characters are with like no problem.
Silhouetted Frankie.
So the problem comes when Oda, I think, got married suddenly, and this, he was a little bit guilty of this before, but suddenly, if you silhouetted any of the female characters, you had no idea who was who.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems with One Piece, is that female character design. He was so good at it at the start, though. Like,
yep,
it was such the One Piece's episode count does compensate for something. By that standard, Pokemon is terrible. Yeah, a little bit, but you know. But like the designs for like Nami especially, you know, since they're like really like teenagers at the beginning, right? The design for like Nami and like Robin coming in as an older character, and like all these people, they make sense. They're sensible. They're not ridiculous. And then
he gets married.
And then post time skip, everyone has no organs.
No organs, giant titties. And then the only thing that changes between body types is hairstyle.
And
it was very disappointing. Yeah.
The only female characters that got different body types at that point were like villain characters, like say Big Mom or something, you know? And those are just like supposed to look ugly.
Yep. And also, something that I think Oda has fixed now.
Yeah.
Again, I think he was as respectful as he could be. But I think that he definitely made some like trans characters look not great. And I know when I was in Japan, I think they call them I'm trying to think of the word. But it's people who cross-dress.
Yeah.
And I know that he was doing it as kind of like a joke, but it's like, I think sometimes he did them a little too Okama, yeah, okay. I think he did them a little too dirty. And I think he learned that because he definitely did better like later on in seasons, but like sometimes it was a little rough.
Yeah, there's some rough parts of it, especially like when Sanji's training during the time skip. There's like some really there's some really yikes moments in there.
It's a couple oof moments, and I think that's the thing that's preventing me from going completely into masterpiece territory. I also think that there's a couple things. I did get a spoiler, unfortunately, for the most recent things. I'm not going to say what it is, but I did get spoiled. I think it's I don't know how to word this. It's like there's an element to it that I think is like overdone and kind of too tropey. Yeah. And I think part of it is just like I know Bleach is guilty of this, where Ichigo is like, well, I'm this and now I'm this, but also wait, I'm this. I'm a Mary Sue. I don't think Luffy is a Mary Sue whatsoever. Yeah. But I do think some people get a little too OP in the shonen. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it could be done better. And that's just a personal preference thing for me. Yeah.
So I actually don't disagree. I agree with a lot of points of what you brought up here. And I actually think that if we're talking about One Piece as an anime specifically, because like, you know, this is an anime tier list, so we're talking about like an anime. I don't experience One Piece as a manga. So like if we're talking about One Piece's anime specifically, one of its biggest problems is it's the Nega Demon Slayer. It has some of the worst pacing in all of anime.
Yes.
it is the complete opposite to what Demon Slayer is. Everyone talks about, like, it was mentioned here by Xana, but like One Piece has an incredible amount of episodes. It doesn't need to. Like, that's a product of its time, you know, because it was made in like the weekly anime era, right? But like, if it trimmed its story down, I think like it'd be way more accessible, and then it would be, and it would be still more fun. It'd be more fun. Yeah, it'd be way more riveting, right? Because like, I'm watching, like I'm trying to catch up right now. I'm like 100 episodes back. At like the beginning of the latest arc, and like, you know, when I'm trying to watch it, it's like, okay, skip the first 5 minutes because that's intro, recap, stare down, a little bit of stare downs that's just like wasted time, and then finally when you're 5 minutes into a 20-minute episode, then you finally get the story, and then it ends at like, sometimes it ends at the very end, but like sometimes it doesn't. But like, you know, it is a frustratingly paced show. And
speaking of pacing, I do need to interject because I feel bad, but I
just 48 inch minutes.
So you know how I put Dragon Ball Super on my masterpiece? The pacing in it is so bad. I'm so sorry if you ever watch it. I watched an episode the other day, and there's a fight, right? There's a fight. There's like 3 monologues because it's Dragon Ball. Everybody has to have a monologue. But they're doing a thing that's timed, right? And at the start, they were like, like 20 minutes only like remain, right? And then after the whole episode, or like 2 episodes or something, they were like, yes, only 19 minutes remain. And I'm like, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Wait just a minute now.
Time out. Monologue break.
And I was thinking, I was like, is this just slowed down? Are they talking at super speed? Would they sound like Animal Crossing characters to me if like we heard them in real time? Is that what this is?
I think
the pacing is terrible, but it's really fun.
I think that's more frustrating with Super though, because Super is original content, right? Like, it's not based off a manga, is it? I'm pretty sure it's not.
I I think it is original content.
Yeah, I think Super's original content. So like, with like original Dragon Ball Z, it's understandable that it did that because like they're doing what One Piece does. They're trying to just like pad it on like stall until they get enough content to go forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't have that excuse. It's just like it's just like going on and on.
Sometimes I think they're doing it as a bit, and I'm like, I think I'm being punked by this show, but I love it because I went in with zero expectations and then just had a really good fun time because it was so like you have to watch it as if it's a parody of anime. Because then it's just really fucking fun, and you can. There's so many errors. Like it's one of those things where it's like, it's so bad that, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like it's one of my favorite things because of how ridiculous some of the stuff is. So highly recommend. But anyway, yes. One Piece, I'm still giving a chance. It's just a small amount of things that I'm just like a little sad about that prevents it from going into absolute S tier.
Yeah, I would say one thing that's interesting about that is it actually made me think of something I've been thinking. Like I watch a lot of Bollywood and Indian drama shows right now, right? Because Neha is one of my friends. We watch a bunch of just like drama shows on Netflix together. And like in India, like in Japan, right? They have a kind of culture of like trans people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those people are pretty visible in a lot of media there. But like I have noticed a thing like where they're always kind of depicted as being violent, and it's like these kind of cultures that have those kind of things available in them, but then also choose to like depict them a certain way that as an outsider, maybe you can be like, oh, that seems a little weird, but you see it enough times, you're like, okay, that's really uncomfortable.
This seems a little
this
not
is getting
great.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because like, it's better, and it's good to watch those kind of things with someone who's familiar with the culture. Like, I am lucky enough to, because you get, if I get a sneaking feeling about something, I can have it reaffirmed. Like, yeah, that's weird. That's weird, and it's weird that shows continue to do that. Like they'll acknowledge like LGBT people, but like also still be like, but aren't they kind of weird?
I think like one of the things as sort of like a I guess kind of a side comment is the time I spent while I was in Japan. I think I didn't realize how not I thought they were like super progressive, and I think that finding out that they weren't so much.
Yeah. Japan kind of tricks you like that.
Was a bit of a shock. And also finding out that gaijin was a slur for foreigners, I was like, I did not know that, because I was like, I made the mistake of saying, oh look, like when I was with my friend, I was like, hey, it's another gaijin, and then they were like, you can't say that, you can't say that. And I was like, wait, what? You call me that? And they were like, no, it's not.
Oh, God.
You don't get it. And I'm like, I don't know. It's just, it comes out in the media is, I guess, the point I'm trying to make there. Yeah. And it's kind of sad.
It's interesting because, like, I've gotten comments, like, when I criticize some anime, like, I criticize Mushoku Tensei, whatever. People get annoyed at my pronunciation. I've criticized Mushoku Tensei a lot because I felt like its inclusion of a character who was a middle-aged man becoming a child and being really interested in other child characters like him was really uncomfortable because like the context the series gave that particular character. And the amount of comments I got from people, anime fans particularly, defending that kind of behavior, it's like there's this kind of like Japan has a lot of people who are progressive in it, and like a lot of those people are involved in like manga and stuff, and like there's a few studios that do pretty progressive work, right? Like Cowboy Bebop is really progressive. You have why can't I think of the name of this? Revolutionary Girl Utena. You have all these kind of series that have a different kind of like a progressivism that you wouldn't even see in like Western shows, right? And like there's a lot of shows like that, you know. But there's the people will take those kind of things and like think that anime is a monolith when like there's a lot of series like Mushoku Tensei who are really creepy, and like there's a lot of things in Japanese society that are really creepy and uncomfortable because like Japan is not that progressive. It has been ruled by the same right-wing party since the end of World War II. Like, it's not good.
Oh my god, yeah. Speaking of, I witnessed a protest there. Fun fact, they were all in like really cute like tiger costumes, and I'm like, I know this is people protesting the government, but this is very cute. I love this.
God, it's learning about Japanese history, like actually like modern Japanese history, which I think is like one of the things that we do not understand in America, because we're not taught this at all. Post World War II Japanese history is really important to look up, and like even like
absolutely
pre World War II, like actual in Japan politics is really interesting, because that's actually going to bring me to another topic here, which is Attack on Titan.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Fucking yep.
Where do you have Attack on Titan?
I can swear.
No, you can swear. I swear all the fucking time. Where do you have Attack on Titan ranked in yours?
I believe I had it at like the lowest tier.
Okay. I actually put it at
or like one tier above the lowest.
I put it in like, I struggle between like B and C. I put it in B because I think production wise it has like redeeming qualities. Attack on Titan is a series that the more I learn about modern day Japanese politics, the more I kind of understand what this series is going for. Which I'll be honest, like we'll avoid like specifics here, and I don't want this to be too long of a conversation because it gets uncomfortable really fast. But like Attack on Titan is a series that I think wants to at times criticize fascism and like political dealings that have happened in Japan, right? And people from Western perspectives have always kind of imposed Germany on it because like there's German aesthetics, German names, and like the German aesthetic is really popular in Japan and in all of anime. But I think that it's actual politics that it discusses and the coups that happen there and the actual like the views of people having towards outsiders, I think rings a lot more true towards Japan's politics, specifically politics between like other countries that they colonized during the post. Like China, Korea, the Philippines. All these countries that they did horrible things to, that in the West we kind of just pretend didn't happen because they didn't get the same treatment after World War II that the Germans did. They weren't ever forced to reconcile with what they did. And I think the series at times tries to grapple with it. The problem is that it's clumsy and that it's gotten that its interpretation is I struggle even to like fall on where I believe it, where it's falling actually, because like I want to give it like I want to say that it's trying to be against like right-wing politics and fascism and like all this stuff. I want to say that, but the way it's messaged is so clumsy and frustrating that it kind of comes off as the opposite, you know, for a lot of people.
It does.
Yeah.
I think the ending also is like very upsetting in terms of like I guess punch and like the message gets real muddled, like real muddled. Yeah,
I'm planning a video to do. I'm planning on writing and releasing a video once the series like ends on like what I thought, because I know the ending is over the manga, but like I have so many thoughts on it, and it is incredibly frustrating because like I was willing to give it such a benefit of the doubt through like its main story, the ending storyline, because I thought like its ending storyline made sense for who Eren was particularly depicted as in the earlier seasons of Attack on Titan. Like his heel turn made a whole lot of sense. I thought, okay, this actually kind of tracks the things I found really annoying about the character, These are getting kind of paid off, and then the end of the series fizzles. It just kind of fizzles on that, and it's incredibly frustrating. It is another one of those anime that has revolutionized the anime culture and anime scene, especially in the West. Its animation is insane. Wit Studios destroyed it in their first 3 seasons. The first part of season 4 was underwhelming, but the second part of season 4, Mappa did a great job. Like, production-wise, it's had a really blessed time. But
Mappa is like one of my favorite studios.
Mappa does incredible work. Wit did incredible work. I love both of those studios. They do a great job bringing this series to life. It's just that the messaging of the series, because it is a political show. Like, I see people talk about, like, you can't, like, talk about politics with anime, or, like, you're talking too much about politics with Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan wants to be interpreted politically. It wants to be. That is its point. Like, there's reasons why for its imagery and, like, for specific things, and, like, there's usually, like, really weird references to World War II in it, because, like, I can't even get into that because that's like a spoiler, but, like, there's really weird specific references in World War II.
Yep, I know what you're talking about, though, so at least I know.
yeah there's a lot of weird specific things, and it's interesting. I feel like it has thought put behind it, but its messaging and the way that it was executed did not pan out at all. So, you know, it gets into B tier for me. I kind of want to put it to C tier, but, like, it still does have a lot of really great action in it, but, like, it's just I just wish I was more confident in, like, really being able to determine what it fucking wants, because, like, I'm fairly confident that it wants to be saying that the right-wing people who, like, who perpetuate these cycles of violence, and, like, people who want to perpetuate cycles of revenge, lead to more pain and suffering, people who never really caused those problems to begin with. But also, it relies so much on, like, it either to be more marketable to people or more palatable to people. It allows itself to be interpreted in a more completely straight-faced way, where people can just say, oh, the main character is actually right the entire time, and my horrible worldviews are correct, which is frustrating. It's really fucking frustrating.
That's a good way to put it, though.
Yeah.
I also wanna say I do appreciate the fact that you like read up on all of this history. So something that I did is, like, and not that I know anything by any means, but so I double majored, and one of my majors was the history of Japan. And, like, a little bit of China, but not really. And it's really good to hear somebody who knows the nuance of some of the things that go on in anime. So I just wanted to, like, say, like, I appreciate that, because sometimes I'll get into, like, arguments with people and I'll be like, you don't understand.
It really is important to understand like, this is something I have found to be really to really appreciate. Like I was talking about earlier, I really appreciate watching Indian movies with an Indian person, because like, having her be able to, like, pause the movie and explain what an entire scene is referencing makes it give you, like, so much context to what the show is doing, right? And, like, I have found the same thing to be true with anime, right? Because there is a lot of times where shows are referencing specific things that we just have no context for, and, like, people just take as, like, straight and not as, like, an allegory, like the show is trying to be. Like, you're losing so much nuance in that.
And you see, I know when I was, like, when I graduated, when I was watching things or rewatching things, I could see it through, like, a different lens. And sometimes it makes you really, really uncomfortable. Like you were saying, you're like, I know that there's some discomfort with this, right?
Yeah.
Like, because now I know what this is kind of referring to.
Yeah. It's like, it's like this, it's just frustrating. Like, I think one of the good series for this is, have you seen Japan Sinks 2020?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, so this is kind of a spoiler for Japan Sinks, but in one scene of Japan Sinks, there's like a scene where you know this, obviously. I'm just but like there's that one scene where the kids are half Japanese and the mom is she's foreign. I think is she black? I think I'm not sure if they're clear on it. She's at least not Japanese, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
She is a foreigner.
It was like 2 years ago that I saw it.
Yeah, it's been a bit for me.
Yeah.
She's clearly a foreigner, right? She's not native to Japan. And like there's a boat that's leaving, but the boat refuses to accept the kids and her because it's pure Japanese only. And that's that kind of like xenophobia that a lot of people do not have any concept for, because Japan is incredibly xenophobic.
Yep.
The people don't have any concept of that, and they're just like, but that is how a lot of right-wing people are there. They just there is a kind of xenophobia and hatred towards people who are outsiders, and I see people justify that stuff. I'm like being like, oh, they want to have their own culture and like keep things like the way that they are, and I'm like, you can do that without being a xenophobic bastard. I don't know. Without making laws.
You know who else wanted to do that? Somebody in Germany, but I'm not gonna say who.
It's like it's like this kind of like it's this kind of problem I get with people who talk about like cultural purity in a lot of ways. Like there is a limit to that where it just becomes really, you are allowing right wingers to have their side of things. In those countries, you know, you're supporting that by saying, oh, well, it's what they're deciding. Like, no, it's not. There's a lot of people in Japan who don't want it to be like that. And it's just like an A-okay to like the xenophobic housing practices that happen in Japan, or they're really bad. The whole bunch of limits on immigration there, which like I think some people think is okay because like there's a perception that only affects Westerners that want to come to Japan, but it doesn't, because like there's a whole bunch of people from like say the Philippines, right? I think there's I remember this one anime, I don't remember the name of it right now. It was like a comedy anime from the 90s, but one of the things that made me really uncomfortable with it is that there was a stereotype of a migrant Filipino worker, right? And like, you know, it was like a comedic stereotype of migrant Filipinos, you know, but like that is like a thing there. There are, whether or not it's visible to people over here or not, there are people who go to Japan as migrant workers. It's one of the biggest economies in the world, you know, and they are openly xenophobic to those people or to other people in Japan who have lived in the islands for forever. Like Golden Kamuy is actually a really great series for this, because it talks about the Ainu people in northern Japan and Hokkaido and everything, and how they have native populations there that they oppress because Japan is an imperialistic country. And like we just have no concept of that. Like people refuse to acknowledge that, and it's not until people watch things like Golden Kamuy, which I highly recommend to people because I think it's like an anime Coen Brothers movie. You don't really get any kind of like concept of those kind of like nuances in Japanese culture. Princess Mononoke
and
also
that's the thing too, is like I think it would be culture shock for a lot of people to especially in Western countries, because I think like there is quite a lot of ignorance in America. Let's be real. But,
definitely.
There is so much like inter-Asian racism that it's insane.
Yep.
And it's like it goes so far too to say, so like if you are Japanese but born in America, you're not considered Japanese. They're like, no, you aren't. Like you're
not
basically a white person, you know? Which is weird, right? And it's the same with China as well. They call them ABCs, like American born Chinese. And they're like, well, you're not a part of our community.
Exactly.
You know? It's like you're other. You become other. And they do that with each other, and they like hate each other. And I'm like, this is terrifying.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, so like I just did a whole video on Italia with Yosh and King. But like there's a reason that the character Korea is not in the anime. There's a whole thing about it, but like, you know, Koreans hate the Japanese hate the have like a thing about Koreans. Like, this is just like a cultural thing over time of like all of the wars that they've had, you know, the inner conflicts that they've had, the kind of like Japan had, like, especially during the if you look at like what Japanese propaganda was during World War II, it was them saying that like, oh, we're gonna kick out the Western imperialist powers of the that are infesting East Asia or the Asian area to make a nice unified Asia, led by the Japanese, who are the best of us. Yeah. It's like, oh, they're anti-colonialist. No, wait, they want their colonialism.
What I do like though is that it seems like in recent animes, I think a lot more are being more inclusive, and I like seeing that trend, because I've seen a lot more darker skinned characters, etc., or like even like very obviously foreign characters like make appearances in newer anime. And I'm like, good. Fucking good.
Yeah, there has been a lot of there's some really great mangakas out there who do this. I think the one for A Silent Voice is one of the best at this. Miyazaki is actually really good about it too. Hayao Miyazaki, because like that's one of the One Piece A tier only. I'm out of here. JK, hello, Ghost News complaints. Hi, Rowan. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. But Miyazaki has like a like Princess Mononoke is all about like the Amishi people, I think, which are another one of those people who are kind of like wiped out in early like Japanese history, like feudal era Japan. That's also kind of depicted in To Your Eternity in a more not direct way, but like if you look at the cultural signifiers, that's kind of what they're going for, of how like Japan colonized itself, like colonized different parts of it, and like I think there's just such a overly simplistic view that we have a lot of anime fans have towards Japan and towards these kind of things that occur in Japanese culture. It's good to see more anime just get into that kind of shit. You know, Golden Kamuy I think is really good. No, you're good. You're good.
I was like, oh my god. What is like, okay, so what are your S tiers? Because I'm curious.
Yeah, okay, so let's actually see what we have in here that are my S tiers. This one's a personal preference. I always preface this. This is actually, Toradora is one of my favorite anime ever. And I will say, it is not objectively one of the best anime. I don't ever claim that it is. Personally, I just love it a lot. I don't know. It's always just hit me. It's a rom-com that's always hit me in the right spot, and I rewatch it the most out of any anime. So I don't claim that it's the best. To me, it's one of the best. It's one of my favorite ever.
I will put it on my backlog of things to watch for sure.
It's pretty easy to get through. And it's all on Netflix, so.
Hell yeah.
Let's actually, because I just see this here, Sword Art Online, putting that in D.
Yep. Hard agree. Agree.
I just cannot stand Sword Art Online. I have had a problem with a lot of isekai anime because it's like the same fucking story every fucking time.
Oh no, I'm in a new world. What am I gonna do?
Oh,
I'm in love with this other girl. Wait, is she my sister? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the incest bait, and it was definitely one of the reasons it's here.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's also like one of those series that just the first season has potential to be pretty good, but blah. Yeah, I mean, like the first half of the first season has like potential, but like Kirito is such a bland character, and like I never get over him calling himself a beater, because he's a beta tester and a cheater. He's a beater.
The worst.
Never get over that. Yeah, Sora is a self-insert anime where you just insert yourself as the main character. That's exactly right. And I dislike it. It's just really bad. It's not good. People have asked me to watch like Gun Gale and stuff. I'm like, no, I've seen enough. I'm done.
I'm done.
It's also one of those anime. I call it a harem anime. I have gotten Kirito's legit neckbeard. He is, except he's like the most. He's the biggest neckbeard who cannot grow any facial hair on his chin. But like, it is one of those anime that I call it a harem anime, right? And I think if you talk to most people would agree it's a harem anime. Every time I call it a harem anime, I get so many people telling me, no, because he's got his main girlfriend. He's got like a wife character that he like marries, kind of like their girlfriend, boyfriend. I'm like, yeah, that's true. They do that, but then a rare species. But it's true. They do that. They do make sure he has a canon girlfriend, but also they have all these other girl characters who fill out the main cast, and all of them love Kirito and are just happy to just be by his side, and they just love him and they adore him, and he's so amazing, and like he protects us, and he's so good at video games, and that makes me so hot for him, and it's just it's garbage. It's garbage.
I love my gamer boyfriend who's so good at the games.
He's so good at video games.
Like, I'll just support him forever, even if he treats me like trash.
Kirito, I know you've been have been dissing me for like 50 episodes, but this isn't who you are, and I will still remain by you. I'm like, nope, that's bad. You shouldn't believe that. Okay.
You know, deep down, you care for me. Rowan asks, any harem animes you like?
No. I think the problem I have with harem anime is I think they're cowardly. It's the problem.
Yeah.
Like from a writing, like there's like the whole thing of like how they objectify women, and like, you know, that's a whole thing to talk about with all of anime, is like how women are objects to be collected by the main character. But I also just think they're really lazy from a writing perspective, because like just pick a character, because like they just use it as like a scapegoat to be like, and they're with whoever character you want them to be. You can just make an argument for whichever one. I'm like, fuck you. Pick a side. Pick one. I know you have I know you have a preference. Pick one, series. Make a choice. But they don't want to make a choice because they want to keep it open-ended. Whatever.
What are the two that you like, Rowan? I'm actually curious.
I am too. I would say, if I'm gonna guess, I think Techi Muyo? Is that what's called?
Techi Muyo?
Yeah, I think that's the one that people.
Well, I like that one, but through nostalgia goggles. That's the only reason I like it.
I have not watched it, actually. It wasn't even on Toonami when I was watching Toonami.
I don't think it's aged well, so don't do it.
Yeah. I think the ones I liked a lot were Love Hina and 90% of Negima. I knew that shit was so raunchy and bad, but maybe it's just nostalgia now. I have not seen Love Hina.
Probably.
I have not seen Love Hina, but or Negima, but probably, I'm gonna be honest.
I love one harem anime, and it's a reverse harem, and it's called Uran High School Host Club.
Okay, I'll add that. I'll that's good. That's good. I'll admit to that. I like Uran too. Yeah. Because Uran's ridiculous.
I love it.
Oh god. Yeah. Oh. Uran has the same creator as.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So other S tier anime. Let's see. I have not seen Charlotte. I'm just finding ones. Okay. Here it is. Here's one. Put it up here. Your Lie in April. This is actually one.
Oh, you like the sad one?
Yeah, I like Your Lie in April a lot. It's sad. I knew it was gonna be sad going into it, but it tells its story so well, and the score is incredible. The characters, even when you know what's going to happen, because I figured out what's going to happen. I watch AMVs. I know what happens in these anime.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
the thing, I actually have an interesting relationship with a lot of anime because I go to AMV contests a lot for like anime conventions. So like there's a whole bunch of anime that I haven't seen, but I know what happens in them, and like I just accept it. So like in this one, I knew it was going to happen in it. I didn't care. I still loved it. Like even if I knew the twists of what was going to happen, I still thought it was a really emotionally honest story, and really beautiful, really incredibly animated. well executed, told and paced perfectly, where I don't feel like there was any fat to the series, and the score is incredible. So I think it hits everything that it wants to do. Like, yeah.
I can't do tragedies, so
No.
they all go in the because I'm just sad.
I completely understand. This is Durarara is one I want to watch. I haven't seen it yet. I'm sorry.
I haven't seen that either.
Oh god.
I'm
Okay.
looking at your tier list, and there's so much more on that one.
There is a lot on this one. Okay, so Mob Psycho 100. That's a top tier. That's a top tier anime. We already talked about that. Great anime. Fantastic anime. Evangelion, I think I'm going to put as a masterpiece. Though at times I want to put it down here. Because, like, I don't know. I love Evangelion a lot. I know you haven't really seen it that much, so we won't talk about it too much. But Evangelion's great. I think it does, like... I hate to say it subverts, like, its expectations, but, like, it elevates mecha and shonen anime in a lot of ways, and is really emotionally complex in ways that a lot of anime at that time were not as much. Like, I mean, there's a lot of emotionally complex anime you'll find in the 90s and 80s, you know, but not consistently compared to like what most of the stuff that was being created was. And if you think that most of the stuff being created was as good as Evangelion, you're a liar. I know you're lying. Because like there's only like one other off the top of my head that I can think of, but you know, anyway. Yeah,
I think Rowan actually likes Evangelion quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a really good series. It's a really good series. It deserves a lot of praise. Also, the animation, that 90s animation is so crisp. I love it. Yeah, it just is, yeah. Cowboy Bebop, we already talked about this. Top tier anime. Again, has such an amazing style to it. Yume! Shmoo. How's it going?
Yume! My beloved.
I don't think we need to spend too much time on Cowboy Bebop since we went on and on about it earlier, but
yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's great, fantastic series, deserves all its recognition. Did not deserve to have a live action series butcher its name, but you know, anyway. Naruto.
How does it feel knowing that somebody's first exposure to Cowboy Bebop was the live action?
It's sad. It's sad. It really is. It's like, I wish people didn't have to suffer through these things, but, you know, we all deal with tragedies in life. We all deal with tragedies in life. And if they can see it through to watching the original series, you know, maybe they'll be better for it. Oh, actually, Oran's on here. I'm going to rank Oran as A, because I think because if Oran continued, I think I'd put it higher. But I'm gonna put it as A because of what we got. Because like it's one of those anime that kind of frustrates me at times. Because like this is one of the reasons I actually put Toradora up at the top. Is because Toradora is a complete rom-com, right? It tells its entire story. Oran isn't. It's just not one of those. And like all anime that is not a complete rom-com, they get knocked down for me. Just a little bit. Not that much. You know, I still love it, but you know, it leaves me on edge. You know, it's just like, it's not gonna complete. Okay, you know, yeah. At least it wasn't Death Note Netflix. Yeah. Death Note Netflix at least had some funnier memes.
Oh my god. You've unlocked like a core memory.
Yeah, that one screaming scene, live on in infamy. God. Okay, I actually want to get your opinion on this. What do you think about Code Geass?
I have not seen it.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in.
I know.
I'm gonna put it in A.
A lot of people have told me to see it.
I'm gonna put it in A. Yume is, I think, probably one of the biggest advocates for Code Geass, and they might stab me for this. I think there's some flaws in like the writing for the main character, and like that got pretty grating for me.
Mhm.
But like it is one of the better told sci-fi action series. I
Mhm.
stand for Code. Yeah, so many people stand for Code. So many people really do stand for Code Chaos, and there's just some aspects of it for me that just felt slow, that felt incomplete, and while overall I think it's a really beautiful series and tells an incredible story that I think everyone should experience. I think some parts of it for me left me feeling lacking, so I'm putting it A.
Mm.
Because like I wouldn't put it in S unless I felt fully satisfied by it, and I don't feel that towards Code Geass. I just don't. I don't know what this anime is because I can't tell what it is from the poster, so I'm gonna just put it and haven't seen it. Okay, what about Black Butler? Have you seen Black Butler?
I have.
Where would you rank Black Butler?
I don't know.
D. The show makes me so uncomfortable.
You know what? Fair.
Especially season 2. Season 2 of this show made me so uncomfortable. Season 1 I think is more passable. But like it is the case study of Vanitas is a better version of this show in every single way. So the modern anime that's also set in like a kind of steampunky 18th century. This one, Vanitas is set in France, but this one's set in England, of course. But like Black Butler, the relationship between Sebastian and CL is just really coded weirdly, and like I cannot get over the fact of how people interpreted that at the time, and how I think the season 2 of the show really leaned into it and trying to interpret how those characters' relationship is. Made me feeling really uncomfortable, so I'm gonna put it in D.
Yep, that's
purely
fair.
on that. I think aesthetically it has some things. It can be funny. It can be interesting, but overall it's a D for me.
That's fair.
It's D.
That's entirely fair.
Yeah. Elfen Lied. Have you seen Elfen Lied? D.
But I saw episode 1.
Mm.
And actually, this is weird because I was just talking about this recently about the scene where Lucy escapes in the first episode. Fucked up, and it's like meme worthy of how like messed up it was.
Yeah,
I didn't watch anything else though. I was like, nope, this is not for me.
It gets uncomfortable. It's weird. I don't know.
Does it? Okay.
Does anyone in this? I'm gonna assume this is an older anime. I hope if you care about spoilers for this, mute me. Ghosty, do you care about a spoiler for this?
No.
Okay. The series ends with the main character marrying his cousin, and then having kids with his cousin. And then yeah.
Wait, which series is this?
Elfen Lied. Elfen Lied ends with the main character marrying his cousin, who is like the other love interest of the series.
That is fucking weird.
It is fucking weird. And it's like there's just so much in it. It feels like a lot of it's like shock, like trying to be really shocking, and it feels juvenile in a lot of ways. It's like the first scene of it is like the most memorable part, and the rest of it is also just other kind of like shocking moments that don't really live up to anything or have any kind of substance. And then there's just like creepy incest in it. So yeah, D.
That is very fair. That is very fair.
Yeah. Let's see what else in here. This is one I hear a lot about, but I never really kind of understand why. Blue Devil. Is it called Blue Devil? Blaze Blue? I don't know what the fuck. That's not Blaze Blue. Blaze Blue's a video game.
Blue Exorcist? No.
Blue Exorcist? Yeah.
No.
Is that it? Hold on.
Yes? No?
Hold on.
Oh yeah, Blue Exorcist. I think that's Blue Exorcist.
Blue Exorcist. That's the one I'm thinking of, right?
Yes. I have seen that one.
Yes, Blue Exorcist. That's the one. I don't know why I forgot the part of that name, but yeah. What did you think of it? And you're right.
So I think it was like super. It was enjoyable for me, but I don't think it was like something I would go out of my way again. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that the concept was interesting. I think the animation was pretty good, but I do think that it like. I don't know. I think they could have cut a lot of trimmed a lot of the fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Blue Exorcist is one of those series that it was like, it's good. I had nothing else to say about it.
yeah. Like that's kind of what I mean. I think that it was good, and I think I liked the like animation a lot.
I like the design of some of the characters, but like I see a lot of people hype up Blue Exorcist a lot. I don't understand it. I don't like. I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I barely remember that it exists. It was hard for me to remember what the name of it was. FMA Light. It's kind of FMA Light. Yeah. So I don't know. It just is. I think it's a perfect C tier. I think it's a perfect C tier anime.
I can agree with that, because like I think that's the thing, right? Is like if I'm working or something and it's on, like I will enjoy listening to it.
Yeah.
You know? I won't hate it. It's mid.
Yeah, it's definitely very mid. Yeah. Why is there two code gay S's on here? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, definitely mid. I feel the mid. It's just like slots right into that C spot. Gurren Lagann. I know you had your rating on this. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this first.
I put it in A. I didn't put it in masterpiece.
yeah. I actually feel a B on this, to be honest. I think the first half of Gurren Lagann is great. I've seen the second half of Gurren Lagann, I think twice. I don't care. I didn't care.
Honestly, I can agree with that rating too.
Yeah.
I can agree with a B rating as well. Like, I think the animation is incredible. I think it's Studio Bones, right?
It's actually I think it's Gainax, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because it's like it was like the people who left Gainax to form Trigger.
Yeah. Studio Trigger. Okay.
It's pre-Trigger, but like it's what became Trigger, the Trigger style. Yeah.
I think I love that style.
I do too. Yeah.
I think there was a lot of really good parts to it. I think there's a lot I would do differently if I or I wanted done differently. I think.
Yeah, I think the series it suffers from its first half being really, really strong and having a lot of great memorable lines like the drill that will pierce the heavens, believe in the me that believes in you, that kind of stuff. Like there's so many really great funny moments in the first half that are so memorable to me. Like this whole bit where like they have the two robots and they're going to combine, and it's this whole thing, and he just jams the head of a robot on top of his robot, and it's just stupid, and it works somehow. And like there's these dumb jokes like that throughout the series that I think are amazing. But like past the second half, I never got any of that. I never got that same feeling. It just felt like the fun was kind of drained from it in the second half of it.
I think you're right in the sense that like everything is super hype all the time in the first one, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like it kind of, I don't want to say it ends, but it kind of ends, and then time skips, and you're like, okay, well, it's like here's the epilogue part. It doesn't feel like the end of the show. It feels like an epilogue.
No, yeah, that's exactly right. It feels like it's an epilogue. Like I know there's a whole another story, and like this is only the first half, but like the first half feels like an entire anime, and then the second half just doesn't feel like it did enough to justify its existence. The second half takes itself too seriously. Yeah, that is one of my main problems, because one of the things I loved about Gurren Lagann was its humor, and like the humor dies in the second half, you know. And we're not going to get into why that happens, because anyway. Oh, here's a nice and easy one. High School of the Dead, D.
I haven't seen it. I know enough about it that I don't think I ever will.
trash.
So...
It is. And actually, do I have the ability to make another thing?
Yes, you do.
Add a row below.
Click settings.
Yeah. Okay, I found it. Yeah. I'm just gonna go with trash. We'll hit this as like. Oh, that's changing this. I don't want to change that. D.
High School of the Dead has a good opening song, Santa.
D is for dumb. Does it? I don't even remember its opening song. All I remember is boob physics. Is why it is trash. It is the biggest.
Is that the one where it's like there's a bullet that goes through somebody's boobs?
That's the exact one. That's the one. Oh
my god.
I am so sorry.
Somebody told me a fun fact that like for that to happen, like somebody's boobs have to be moving so fast that they'd create a light hum. Like that's the velocity in which they'd have to be like moving for a bullet to pass.
Supersonic titties.
Yep.
Hey Santa. School Life is a decent zombie anime. I haven't seen School Life, but like High School of the Dead is one of those anime that's just like it's peak 2000s trash.
Yeah.
No comment at all. Anyway, okay. This is a good one. Erased.
Ooh, I liked that one.
I love Erased.
I'm not putting Erased in S only because I would put it in A tier for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because specifically, I think it gets like there were parts that made me uncomfortable with him being a kid.
Yeah.
And how he's like, oh, I'm a 28-year-old, but I'm having a crush on a 2-year-old or like a 5-year-old or whatever, and I'm like,
yeah,
no.
there's some weird things in that.
That's the only thing preventing me.
Yeah, it's like
since
it's his own life, you know. I think that's like
it
mildly
is
okay. It's like my own internal justification for it is like that he was like changing his own life, but he was like still kind like he had like the memories of himself. I don't know. It's like the Mushoku Tensei argument, because like the character wasn't explicitly showing as like being into that, you know, like it is another anime. Like I kind of like discounted it, but you're right. That does seem it thinking about it. The more you think about it, it's weird.
It's I think because he still had his 28, 29-year-old brain in his 5-year-old thing, I'd be like, that's what made me uncomfortable. I think if he was just like, oh no, like if he was starting to have like 5-year-old brain, like intercept his 28-year-old brain, like, oh, why did I think about this superhero thing I want to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if
like,
they made that more
I'd be
clear.
Okay.
Yeah. But
just 28-year-old brain and 5-year-old body, I'm like, that's still
that's weird. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, he doesn't get with the crush at least. Yeah, at least there's that. It's like Big, but in reverse. Little, the only anime with Tom Hanks. Yeah, it at least there's that. At least he has like a main love interest, kind of, that's brought up at the beginning and into the series. I think what I put it in Masterpiece because I think what its main core intention and like what the series focuses on for the most part is just like the murder mystery aspect of it, the supernatural murder mystery aspect of it.
Absolutely.
And that entire aspect of it. The opening theme's also amazing for that. That's one I always think about. And there's some just really great moments in that anime that are just like some of my favorite.
I think the overarching plot and the pacing and everything, if I take away the weirdness, because I think that the fact that I had that weirdness and I just felt like icky, was what made me put it in A. If that just didn't exist, absolute masterpiece. I think the storytelling was amazing. Love the antagonist. Amazing, amazing kind of like way that they did everything. Oh, so good.
I love the way they set up his powers like immediately. And it's just like a thing he lives with, you know? It's just like a thing in his life, and just one day it gets really intense, and like this whole story happens. And then it's it feels like it feels like one of those anime that's just like you can get through in a night with somebody, and just really enjoy it yourself all the way through. Which is also what I'm actually going to say about another one of this anime on this list here, because I saw it. Where is it? Here it is. Anohana, the flower we saw that day. That is also an anime I'd put right up there with Erased as being like really sad, but also one of those anime you can just get through in a day. It's 11 episodes. There's no fat to it, and like the main core story is trying to tell.
Okay, I can't.
It is sad. It's sad, but also beautiful, and like it. I don't think it's like surprisingly tragic or anything. I think it's sad in a way, but it's also a lot about grief and acceptance and like friendship and like genuine friendship. So yeah.
Let me ask you this:
yeah.
Do I have to be in a stronger mindset, like
yes,
to watch it?
You do. Yeah, you do.
Should I not watch it if I'm already sad or having a bad week?
To be honest, like that's a personal thing. Okay,
fair.
It did make me cry.
Okay.
But also like in a happy way, because I thought it was really sweet. I did not feel sad when I was done with it. Right.
Okay.
I felt like the ending was really uplifting in a way.
Okay.
And like I think that's what its goal was trying to be. And like there's a lot of emotions that you get taken through from it, but I think my overall feeling at the end of it was of hope and being uplifted and happy, even if there's a whole bunch of emotions through that. Anohana is great. I love Anohana. I kind of want to do a full video on it eventually, but yeah, Anohana is one of my top anime.
Hell yeah.
I want to do this real quick. Have you seen Fate Stay Night?
I've seen well, which one? Fate Stay Night I've seen. I think.
The original one, the one that people die if they are killed?
Yes.
Yeah. where the Dean Stay Night. I'm going to put that in C. Where would you put that?
I would say, well, since now that you've added the trash category, I'd say high D, low C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, go ahead.
It was it was a little ridiculous, but it had some of like my favorite character designs. It had like some really cool fights, some really cool animation, but it was like kind of cheesy as all hell.
Yeah, my main thing about it is like the main character's a fucking dumbass. I hate the main character so much. Shiro Emiya, the protagonist. The dumbass protagonist to end all dumbass protagonists, because like he's like this character who in the Dean Stay Night series refuses to let Saber, who is King Arthur and has a magical sword, do anything.
Yep.
He's like, no, I have to fight for you. I can't let the woman fight. Like, no.
Yeah.
She's better at fighting than you. Shut the fuck up.
I think there was like also a lot of lead up to Saber doing some cool stuff, and then like he was just like, no. I was like, I want to see her do shit.
She never really does anything in this series. It's frustrating. The relationship with all the characters is just kind of like meh. I know this is for a reason because it's like a synthesis of a whole bunch of storylines for a visual novel. But like I've seen Dean Stay Night. I don't like Dean Stay Night. I think that Shiro is one of those characters who has no personality, and really insists on that he's friends with everybody and he's going to do his best to sacrifice himself, which I hate because it doesn't feel like a real person. Like, there does not feel like a real person inside of Shiro Emiya or really any of the other characters an extension to that. All of them feel like cardboard cutouts, because of that. They, like, Saber, I love you. And it's just like, wow. This cardboard cutout has a voice box saying that it loves this other cardboard cutout. I'm so thrilled.
Is there any anime that you have you were like, I can't watch this anymore? Like, I cannot see this through?
Yes. I think it's in here. Overlord. That's it. D. Overlord is one I could not watch. Visual novel Shiro is better. Yeah,
I've heard of it, and somebody said that they'd be mad at me if Overlord was ranked low.
I don't understand it. I don't understand with the love for Overlord. Overlord is one of those series that is similar to me. Okay, I'm gonna put it higher than it's unfair. It's like in between this stuff. Like it is almost low C because like I did enjoy spurts of it, but like I put it in D above Sword Art Online because it's one of those series that's like, I'm trapped in a video game. This is an isekai. I am the villain character and I am imposing and scary. But I have these characters who are devoted to me, and we are villains, but also not really, but also kind of. It does like this weird anime thing where like you have the character who's like, the main character is a villain, is like the whole thing of the anime, but he's not really, because like he helps people a lot, and like he'll help people and like
it's Megamind, the anime.
Exactly. Yes, he won't actually commit to being evil at any point. I think some people like it because the protag. I don't know. I watched. I was like, eh. I was and like,
you said it's an isekai too.
It's an isekai, yeah.
Oh,
where the character is a skeleton demon lich, so that's interesting. But that's the only interesting thing it has about it. Everything else just feels boring. He's an overpowered character in an underpowered world who understands everything that's going on, and he just is dealing with it. And he's just like, yeah, I'm just like, this is great. I love being in this world. It's like part of me that feels like it didn't need to be an isekai. It's like one of those things. Like,
yeah.
It could just not be an isekai and it'd still work, and it might work better, to be honest, because like you could just have him be like just a demon. But like, you know, I don't know. I just felt bored with it by the time I got to the second season. There's like this whole arc with some lizard characters, and I just hated my life when I was watching it. I'm just like, I want this to end. I don't like this anymore. So yeah, that's definitely an anime I gave up on.
I'm looking at what you have left, and I don't see a lot of things that I've seen except for like the Ghibli film. Oh wait, no, never mind. I have seen things. I was looking at your never watched one. I was like, I haven't watched a lot of these too.
Let's go with this one. I'm gonna play this one real quick. Akame ga Kill is trash. If you don't think it's trash, I don't care. I don't like. It's just trash. It's a trash series. This is also a series. We're talking about series that have problems with LGBT representations of characters. Also happens in this one. Really weird. Even though that character is probably my favorite. Trash. Anyway, moving on. Naruto. What do you think about Naruto? Original Naruto, not Shippuden.
God, I don't think I even remember original Naruto. I think I only remember Shippuden.
All right, I'm actually the opposite because I don't remember much of Shippuden. I didn't watch much of Shippuden. I only watched original Naruto. Naruto, I'm gonna put a B.
Nostalgia goggles. Yeah, I was gonna say nostalgia goggles C or B or C for me. Yeah.
I'm gonna put original Naruto in B because like there's some arcs that I genuinely enjoy going back to and enjoying.
Zabuza arc, I love it.
Zabuza arc's really fun. I really love the Sasuke retrieval arc's really fun. The Chunin exam, like the second stage of the Chunin exams, or like third stage, like the final like fights that they're doing. I think there's some really clever fights in that I think are really fun. It is sporadically really, really gripping. And I think the one thing that Naruto that does differently from the other big three anime, like from Gaara versus Lee is amazing. Yeah. The thing that Naruto does differently from like One Piece and Dragon Ball Z is that I think Naruto actually has pretty good pacing in its canon arcs, right? Because like what it did instead of like, if you look at the amount of filler episodes for anime, Naruto tops the list, I think by far. Yep. Boruto too. Boruto and Naruto like top the list, but like Naruto kind of works with that because like you just send them on different missions, different ninja missions between series to pad out your time. So your the actual arcs with the characters actually feel pretty well paced, and like you're moving through the series at a good clip. You don't have the One Piece syndrome or like Dragon Ball Z syndrome of feeling like they're staring each other down for forever. And so like the fight scenes never feel like they're really dragged out. They feel like they have a really good consistent pace to them here, and they feel impactful still. And I think that's a really great thing that Naruto does. I still put it down because it doesn't know how to write a female character for the life of itself.
True. Very true.
Very bad at that. I never bought the Sasuke Naruto relationship, that bond. I never understood it. I never bought into it. It never convinced me that was a real thing.
But Connor, if you pursue somebody long enough, they'll love you.
if you just want it hard enough, or if you just say that they're the best friends for forever, then people will be gaslit into blinking that they were the best friends for forever.
You can wear them down and get what you want.
I think it relies a little too much on pervy jokes. Its humor is a little juvenile. Its character designs are great. I think there's a lot of great character designs in it. Messy character designs, but I think they're great and iconic. And like there's a whole bunch of memorable moments in it, and some really cool things that it does. Like I think that like some of like the background aspects, Baruto's dad, yeah. So I think some of the background aspects of like the relationship between characters, like Naruto's friendship with like Choji and Shikamaru, and it, like things that are like small things that aren't really explored that much, but you get like kind of an idea that even though Naruto was like an outcast, he still had friends, so like it feels a little more realistic, you know, at times. It's not a great series, but it's iconic, and I still go back to it every now and then. So I put it in B, even though I think it's still really flawed.
All right, what do we have next?
I'm gonna put Shippuden and never watched, because this is my list. I've seen parts of it, but I'm not gonna say I watched it. Let's go with Samurai Champloo. Have you seen Samurai Champloo?
I have. I actually really love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that in A.
That would be like, I think, A or S for me. I think it was very well done. I think towards the end I got like a little sort of like, this is going in a weird direction.
Yeah, that's why I'm putting it in A.
Yeah. So that's why I think it'd be like low S or in A tier. But I enjoyed it. Fucking Nujabes, amazing music. The music was so good.
Music is incredible. Yeah.
Style was very good. The characters were interesting and intricate and had like their own like cool motivations and stuff. Like, and I liked how everybody's personality was very separate.
I feel like there's a lot of really cool things that the series does. I love the episode where they play baseball against some Americans. The baseball episode alone was so good. Yeah. There's just some really fun moments in that series. The action's really intense, and flows really well. You can definitely feel a lot of the soul from Cowboy Bebop moved into Samurai Champloo. And like the music, like you'd mentioned, the music and the score is really amazing. But yeah, I had a feeling like when I was getting to near the end of the series, I feel like it just kind of ran out of steam. It didn't feel like a very complete series. I still can't, like, it's one of those series, like I have to think really hard about how it ended, because it just didn't narratively feel that strong. But like its vibes were great.
It ended.
Yeah. It had like amazing vibes, and like it was a great vibe anime.
Yeah, it's a vibe anime.
Yeah,
for sure, it's a vibe.
Yeah, it is not an anime that you're gonna get. You're not gonna get like a plot like erased in that, like a erased plot heavy anime. Samurai Champloo, vibes, straight vibes, and great vibes, like great vibes. Like it gets it to A, but yeah. Let's see. I don't want to put an opinion on this. I'm putting Steins Gate I never watched. I've actually watched Steins Gate partially. I didn't.
But not enough to form an opinion.
Not enough to form an opinion. I put it in never watched. Okay. I want to watch it again. This is top on the list of things I'm going to try to rewatch to finish out. But yeah, okay. Let's go with Death Note. Actually, where do you put Death Note?
Nostalgia makes me want to rank it higher, but I also want to rank it lower because I feel like it lost its arc after.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. After I don't want to.
The part. Yeah. Everyone, if you know Death Note, you know. Yeah. I'm gonna put it in A. for that as well. I think it's the same problem as Champloo. I think it actually has like it's very narratively strong, and I love the twists and turns and the cat and mouse game of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it dies at the end. Like it doesn't nail its ending that much. Okay. Have you seen Haruhi? The Melancholy Haruhi Suzumiya?
I have not. I hear it's so good. I see cosplays of it all the time. I know. I'm terrible.
No, yeah. So actually, I it's still a spoil after 10 years. Yeah, it still is. No. No, we're not saying it. I'm just gonna say it's a spoil.
Yep.
Anyway, Haruhi, I'm gonna put Haruhi as an A. I have problems with Haruhi, but like it's one of the anime that got me into anime. You know, it has a very yeah. It's like you know, like you have. I think everyone as like a '90s kid has that part where like, oh yeah, I watched Pokemon and Digimon. And like I don't count those as anime really because like those are Saturday morning cartoons more to me, and like they're altered so much. It's hard to call them like they are anime, but like they're altered so much, and like they feel so different than like most of what anime is, and then like you know there's the Toonami stuff, but like I never really like engaged fully into one of those series because like you know I watched it on Toonami and wasn't able to watch it fully. Haruhi and Death Note to an extent, but Haruhi is one of the first series that like that I watched fully online and like got really into. It is, I think, culturally for America, it is one of the most culturally significant anime. I did a whole video on this last year that I'm really proud of. You should check that out. But I think that I'm including the movie in this. Right, I don't think this includes the movie. I'm including the movie in this because I think the movie is insane. But outside of the Endless Eight, if the Endless Eight had been done better, the entire series I think is really interesting. It is a quirky anime, slice of life, but it also has so many weird sci-fi ideas in it that just makes it really, really engaging. Oh god, Eden of the East. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about it too much because like it's hard to really describe. If you want to hear my full thoughts on it, yeah, if you want to hear my full thoughts on it, watch the movie, watch my video on it. But like for its movie alone, I can't put it below B. I think it's a fun series, and it's really culturally significant. Also, it's KyoAni. KyoAni did a great job doing this series, which leads to actually the other thing that they did after this, which is the definition of moe, K-on.
Oh, K-on! Is that the one with like the dude with black hair and he has like a really long ponytail? Is that K-on?
No. K-on. Okay, K-on is cute girl. Cute. Yeah. K-on is cute girls in a. K-on is cute girls in a rock band school club.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. I'm gonna put it as a B. There's not a lot to say about it outside cute girls. I like the music in it a lot. I think the animation's really fun. It's a funny slice of life anime. It's nothing more outside of that. So, because like its music is, I don't want to put it in C because I think parts of it elevated above C to make it more memorable to me. Because like these are anime that I just are like, yeah, it's fine. But like I think K-on is better than fine. So it goes higher. Also, it's pretty funny. Let's see. Full Metal Alchemist. Have you seen Full Metal Alchemist series?
I have.
Which ones have you seen? Have you seen both of them?
Yes.
Okay. Let's start with 2003. What do you think about 2003?
No, I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm putting in
maybe
C.
I was gonna say maybe C.
Yeah.
Maybe C.
I
think it got me interested in the series enough that I watched the Brotherhood.
Exactly. That's exactly the thing.
So.
Haruhi. So like actually, Haruhi, Death Note, and Full Metal Alchemist were like 3 anime that I watched near around the same time. Mainly because after I watched Haruhi, I met my my ex-partner. I met her because she was a cosplayer of Asahina from Haruhi, And then before we started dating, she had me watch Death Note and Full Alchemist 2003 because I was the Full Alchemist out at the time. And so like I have a really nostalgic view of these series. But like 2003 fell apart at the end. It falls apart like halfway through it. Like there's things that really bother me about this series. One of my early videos, like one of my first videos on my channel actually is me comparing Full Alchemist 2003 to Brotherhood. And I think one of the problems I have with it, this isn't like one of my main problems with it, but like one thing that always sticks out of my mind is I hate how it stylistically stops matching up at the end. Homunculi is the biggest thing. Like the homunculi have like this kind of like really set design aspect to them, and like what their powers mean, how that interacts with like what their sin is, you know, how they're designed, and like that just gets thrown out the window halfway through 2003. Like it just doesn't matter anymore. The movie's bad. And weird. I do like, and like most things that are good about this series are good because of Brotherhood, which we're going to now go to Brotherhood, which is S. Brotherhood's S tier.
Yes, same.
Brotherhood's S tier.
Easy same.
Yeah. I love Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. This is a Bones production. They're both Bones productions. I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood's animation is more springy. Like if like I think 2003. I think if you took stills of 2003, they'd look better. They're more like aesthetic as a still, but like in motion, Brotherhood's is way better, and like its action. I feel like Brotherhood's a shonen series that knows it's a shonen series, but like elevates some parts of it, has like political themes to it that are especially relevant from those days, like when it came out, and like in the way that it talks about colonialism and stuff, you know, and the way it uses the German aesthetic. Because like a lot of anime use the German aesthetic, and they just use it because they want to have a German aesthetic. Like in Brotherhood, it feels like it has a point, and like it's all building something. Oh God. Yume!
Yay!
Yume, thank you for gifting us up to Rowan. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Yume. What's your thoughts on Brotherhood?
I love Brotherhood. I think it is cohesive. I think the antagonist is very well done. I think all of the characters are memorable and serve a purpose. Even like the antagonist ones. A lot of NPCs serve a purpose. I think the nuance is very good. I think the messages are really good too. Like, and they have several messages about even like war or like power or like what it means to be good or evil.
Yeah.
People with motivations versus people without like solid dreams or anything. What is right and what is wrong? Like achieving your dreams, things like that. Like the price of ambition, as we see with revenge
and like trying to grapple with being a part of a genocide.
Yep.
Also, Rowan, thank you very much for gifting a tier 1 sub to Xana. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the gift subs. But yeah, I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood has like so many themes to it. It has some of the most well-written characters the most well-written female characters in all of anime. On top of us having some of the most well-written characters in anime itself. Like it's female characters are like, and this is because like I don't want to say it's all because it's a female mangaka, but like that's part of it. Like that's undeniably part of it. Like it's a trend you'll notice if you pay attention to series. If there's a female creator, typically the female
it's less horny.
It's less horny. The characters are written better. Riza, there's so many amazing female characters in this series, and they're given such depth to like what they believe, why they do the actions that they do, why they support the men that they do, the ways that it kind of like humbles Mustang, talks about like conspiracy and I don't know. Like it does so many things. It on top of that has incredible action animation, incredible. It's an incredible shonen series. It does. You're right. It does not waste a character. Like none of those characters are wasted.
They all serve a purpose.
They all serve
even
a
if
complete
somebody
purpose.
is like, even if someone doesn't make a huge appearance, they matter in some way to drive the plot forward. So, like for example, even with like the homunculi or whatever, homunculi. There we go.
Yeah.
If one is just I assume everybody has seen it in chat. I at least hope so. But if not, spoiler warning. Mute me for like literally 5 seconds. But with Lust and Mustang, for example, as like a very low tier one, Lust is only in the series for like a couple episodes. But like she is such a good motivator for Mustang, and like with getting him his like alchemy and shit up to par, and like how to be a better human, and like when she taunts him and stuff, it like mentally it just makes him more motivated, I think, throughout the series. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and I think it also does a really good job of like in those scenes as well with Mustang and with Lust and with Envy going forward. Like both of those scenes do a really great job of showing like the wear and tear of violence that it takes on Mustang. And like
of
they
course,
do that.
The infamous experiment scene with somebody's daughter.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a funny. That's a great meme that people use that. But yeah, but like it is a great series that it's also a great disability series. A series talking about disability because like Ed is a disabled character, and like that is a point that comes up over and over again, and how he has to deal with the world around him. How he has to.
Because he's short, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Because he's short. Because he's a tiny little.
He can't reach the top shelf.
He can't. He has to get on the counter to reach. But no, it's because of like all the the vertically challenged, but like the everything he has to do to deal with his shortcomings and like dealing with the disabilities of like not having an arm and a leg. Like even though he's able to like have like mechanized a leg and an arm, so like it doesn't feel like he's not on crutches or anything, he still has to deal with those getting broken, with them freezing up, with them being like them having mechanical issues and constantly having that worked on, and like being a thing he always has to work with. And the same thing goes for Al too. And like there's so many layers of just like Sloth ruled, and that is missing from 03. Sloth in 03 sucks. I swear to God. I'm gonna get into that in a second. But like Brotherhood is such a great series because it brings all these different threads together of like what makes these characters so interesting and important, and just ties it all up. It feels like all the themes from beginning to end all tie together to make a full, complete web of a story that feels really well thought together, which 2003 does not have. And like it's one of the reasons I don't like 2003, especially after reading the manga and especially after Brotherhood. Like you go back to that series, it doesn't feel well thought out, and like I've heard people try to say that it is. Like no, it's not. It's clearly like this is leading right into my problems with Sloth. I've talked about this a little bit. I have a problem with like the design of the homunculi changing later in the 2003 series. Sloth is one of the worst parts of that. It's just there. I don't care if this is a spoiler of 2003. Don't watch it. I don't care if you're getting spoiled in this. It's just their mom in a suit, in like a business suit, and she has water abilities. What does that have to do with Sloth? But Greed is a big, cartoonish-looking, fat person who eats everything. Envy has powers so they can change themselves into anything. Lust has huge boobs as her power, and like her fingernail things. But like like all of those characters, those three characters, they all make sense. Mustang, like the Führer makes sense. all the other things they try to add in for the other characters, Greed makes sense. But like all the things they add in for the other characters do not make sense. What are the water power? What do water powers? How do water powers come in to being Sloth? That's so stupid. It's so Wrath is just is like a kid who's just mad, and the themes that I loved are gone. They're just gone. The most common superpower, yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. I think like also like the biggest thing about Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood that I think hooked me is that when things start piecing together, you're like hype. You're like, I gotta keep going. It makes you want to keep watching, and that's the biggest thing. Yeah. I think the pieces as they fall into place and make sense together, I think they just build and make it a stronger mystery narrative that pulls through the entire series and doesn't feel like it's just kind of like engineered on the fly. O3 feels like it's engineered on the fly. Made up.
Whether it was or not.
Fan fiction.
Yeah, exactly. People say that it wasn't, that it was thought out from the beginning, but it doesn't feel that way to me, so I don't care.
That's right.
What do you feel about Bradley being Pride versus Wrath? I don't think they really got into I don't think either series really. Pride and Wrath are probably like the most. Brotherhood does a really good job of like showing the wrath that Bradley has in him.
Yeah.
And like justifying that. I don't think 2003 ever did a really good job of saying why he was prideful or why pride was his main problem. Though I could have the same criticism of Pride and Brotherhood, but like I don't care about Pride and Brotherhood as much. So like still everything else makes it S.
I loved it. I thought he was great. I still am very upset. Like I want Tom Selleck to play King Bradley.
King Bradley is Fury. King Bradley is one of my he's one of my favorite villains.
Me too. He's so good.
He's so good.
Because I think he's like a realistic villain, which makes him that much scarier. Because he can be professional, he can control people, but he's very well mannered. He has a good family image. Yeah. But he is like
he's funny and personable.
Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's really charismatic too. Like he's like has a lot of scenes where he's just like he just feels like a really charismatic guy who like honestly cares about like the elder. He seems like he like gives concern to people around him, but like he's an evil monster.
I think that's like amazing though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they do a really good job with his writing to make somebody that well-rounded, because that's like how evil manifests in real life. And I'm like, that's so good that they were able to translate it instead of being like, here's the big evil guy who's definitely evil. Yeah.
They definitely nail. I think they definitely nail what a political villain looks like. Yes. Because he is someone who's engineered to be a political leader who leads his country on these horrifying genocides against people who don't deserve it. And like. He has kind of like, as much as like some people will argue about this, he has what a lot of people saw in like George W. Bush, right? Of like seeing a personable guy who feels like he's relatable at times. Not to say that George W. Bush was, but like that's the impression that people got from them, and like that he has a nice personality, even though he's evil. The same thing with Bill Clinton, right? These people are vile, horrible people, but like they are very personable. You can listen to them talk. And it's engaging, right? And like Bradley does that, and is an understandable political leader. He makes sense as a political leader. Where like a whole bunch of like political leaders in a lot of other series, and not even anime, like other series, just feel like why would anyone support this guy? He's an asshole, And Bradley doesn't do that. He's a great job of mixing it. Great points. Also, Kimberly and 03 is bad. It's bad.
Rosa, the pink bangs girl that shouldn't exist. God.
Oh, God. Man. You could just tell in some parts of that series they are just grasping at straws. I don't know what
Yep.
this anime is. Put it there. Okay. All right. Food Wars. I haven't seen enough of it. I want to put it in trash, but I haven't seen enough of it. I've only seen a couple episodes. Okay. Princess Mononoke. Have you seen Princess Mononoke?
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
S tier. Oh God.
Yep.
Hey, Firebolt. Thank you for the raid. Yay! Hey.
Hi, Fireball. Welcome in, Raiders. Hello.
Yay! Hey, welcome. I'm here with TinyGh0st. We're talking about anime and ranking them and talking about things. How was your stream? I think that's the first raid I've had since I came back to streaming. I need to make it a raid alert, but I haven't done that yet. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So cold.
Oh God. Thank you, Little Spat. Yeah. _ for the follow. I appreciate that. Fire Raid, yay! Fire Raid delivering pizza. Of course he delivers pizza. It's always. Okay. Sorry, I actually want to get your thoughts here. What do you think about Princess Mononoke?
So all Ghibli films, I think I just like.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I think they're all very well done. I think Princess Mononoke had a lot of... I'm glad I watched it as an adult and not as a kid. Because I think that I understand a lot more nuance as an adult to like understand the point of it, I guess.
Right.
Whereas as a kid, I'd be like, there's too much talking and I don't get why they're doing this, you know?
Yeah.
So I love it.
I love it too. Yume, you found it boring? I guess
I watched it last year, so that's why I was like, I watched it as an adult.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love Princess Mononoke. I did one of my earlier videos is about Princess Mononoke. I remember I used to post my videos to Reddit, which is a mistake. Don't do that.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I called in the video though. I'd called. I've seen like every Miyazaki movie. I think I've seen every Miyazaki movie now at this point. At least every Ghibli era Miyazaki movie, and I called it the most mature Miyazaki movie. Because of the way it handles politics and the opposing sides, and people assumed that I had said that because like I thought it was very violent, and like the series is violent, but that's not what makes it mature. What makes it mature is like, I think Princess Mononoke has one of the most balanced environmental messages out there, because like it does a good job of setting up like Lady Eboshi. Like Lady Eboshi's the villain, right? But like she's set up as like a former sex worker who has like brought in all these other sex workers to have a village where they can feel independent. You watched from Years 9. Yeah, maybe that's why you thought it was boring, Yume. This is like she's a sex worker who has a bunch of former sex workers who have founded their own independent village. They can try to live sustainably and take care of themselves, but they aren't really protected in normal society. Also protecting lepers and like other outsiders of society, right? And like it does a really good job of setting up these people as being like really understandable and like you can relate to them, right? Because they're all people who are outsiders of society who are trying to just go their own way when they're going to be oppressed and if they try to live in normal society, right? But they also juxtapose that against them abusing the nature around them, right? And doing harm to nature around them. And it doesn't excuse them for doing that, but it tries to make it so it's like understandable, so you feel that conflict instead of like American shows that try to do the same thing, like Fern Gully, right? Fern Gully will make it like, and they're evil, you know, and like Princess Mononoke refuses to be that simplistic with it. It's like, yeah, it is evil to destroy the environment. But like these people are doing it for a reason that's understandable, and like, you know, it is like it does not excuse them. It does not say that that's okay. I would not put people suffering a contagious and serious disease in mass society. They should be cared for, of course. I mean, Princess Mononoke does have like literal lepers. Like there's people who deal with leprosy in it who are part of the community.
Yeah.
Like they are actual.
They're all like bandaged up and stuff.
Yeah, they have leprosy. It's like, but yeah, and like she takes care of a whole bunch of people who are outside of society. but Princess Mononoke does a really good job of trying to balance that, being like, it is bad to destroy the environment, but also you need to understand that some people are not doing it because they hate the environment. Some people do it because they just want to try to survive, you know?
Yeah.
And that's like a message that maybe in America we don't find as relatable. But like if you look at other countries that have to deal with like trying to modernize, right? Like India's a great example, or like China, right? These are countries that are trying to modernize, but they cause a lot of pollution, right? But like they both have like 1 billion people, and like they're trying to like grow their economies in ways that when America and like all the Western countries did it, it was okay, it was acceptable back then. And then, you know, while they're trying to do it, people rail against them because like there's of course very understandable global and environmental problems coming up here, but like you need to, like, from those people's perspective, what's happening there, they're trying to at least have a sustainable society. So it's like bringing in at least a little bit of nuance, being like, hey, you know, some people, it's not good to pollute, but like some people don't really have much of an option compared to their resources, right? Because it's either do some of these things or be poor, you know, or be an outsider in society, which is not something a Western power has an excuse for, but like it's something that's like other poorer countries just have to deal with, you know? And I think it kind of like touches upon those kind of things. And also I put Spirited Away in S because it's just a great movie.
It's so good. It's so good. I love Spirited Away. Yeah. Soundtrack, amazing. Animation, amazing.
Yeah,
like that's plot, amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I don't think we need to spend too much time on it. It's one of the best anime movies out there. You should watch it if you haven't watched it. I'm sure that most of you have though. I'm just trying to see some of the spicier ones here. Why was Attack on Titan here twice? Attack on Titan going back into B. There we go. Put it with that. Anyway, I don't know why it's on.
A Silent Voice is good. That's at the end.
Oh,
that's
yes.
a good one.
Yes,
that's
that
a
is
very good one.
That is one of my favorites. I did a video on that recently. It's one of my favorite manga series of all time. I love the movie.
Very, very good.
Trash?
Oh no! Wait a second.
No, I would never do that. The mangaka for A Silent Voice is one of my favorite mangakas out there. She does incredible work and telling a story about disability and about like. This is another series that, like Mononoke, tries to understand the nuanced people who do shitty things, right? And like one of those shitty things is like bullying, right? Like when I was a kid, I had to deal with both sides of it, where like I had moments where I was a bully and I had more moments where I was the bullied, right?
Yep.
And like trying to like grapple with what that's like why kids in those situations do that. And like KyoAni does a great job adapting that. Like the soundscape of this movie is insane. They did a really great job with sound, which is really important for the series since it's about a deaf character. But yeah, I love A Silent Voice. What do you have to say on it?
I love it. The only part I didn't like is that there is a character who is very mean to the main girl, and I think she is still kind of a dick at the end, and I'm like, but why? I'm like, I hate this person. Like, there's no. And she's like, oh, we're friends, and I'm like, no, this girl is not your fucking friend. Like, leave her. Is it
the blonde one?
I think so, maybe.
Yeah.
It's whoever's being a jerk to her.
Okay. There's two female characters who are like mean to the main girl. I wish I had the brain power to remember names right now. I think
I can't either.
Yeah, I think both of them kind of get off easy.
I was like, there's no justice, which makes me sad. And she just forgives them, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't like rectify their stories as much, which like I think the manga does a better job of. But like it's a movie, so I kind of understand where it's not as much handled in the movie. and they focus more on just Shoya and Shoya and Shiro. They focus more on those stories. It's also just a great movie. If you haven't seen The Silent Voice, watch it. It's on Netflix. Please watch it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Let's see. Konosuba. Have you seen Konosuba?
I have not.
Okay.
I know. I haven't seen anything. I'm terrible.
No, you've seen a whole lot of these anime. Don't do that.
I have seen your name.
Where's your name? Right here. Yeah.
I think it's at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. Your name. I'm gonna put your name up in S also. What do you think about your name?
Your name was very good. That was my. Actually, no. I watched Garden of Words before that one, which I think is by the same people. But I did like your name a lot. I thought it was very good. I think it balanced like kind of humor and drama very well, and like I don't know, it was a cute little story, and by cute I mean like also very dramatic.
Yeah. I think if people have asked me, I've gotten a question a lot. Like when people ask me like how to get people into anime, right? If I have someone who's not into anime, how do I get them into anime? My recommendation is always to usually these two movies, The Silent Voice and Your Name, are two of the best movies actually probably to show someone if you want to get them into anime, because they're some of the best, and like they're movies because movies are pretty quick to get through. They're not very long. Your Name is one of those movies that is so Makoto Shinkai learned how to tell a story, and it's because like that's the downside of like Garden of Words, because Garden of Words is beautiful, but like its story kind of lacks.
It lacks so much, but it's so pretty.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty, and God, he loves animating rain. Anyway, but
yeah.
If you watch Weathering with You, Weathering with You is also really great. But like Your Name is one of those series that portrays itself to be something at the beginning, and then just grows from there in ways that I never expected. It's really beautiful. It's really funny. It has one of my favorite rom-com stories, and it ends perfectly. I think this is one of the things where, like, I remember showing this to my mom, and my mom teared up at it. And, like, my family doesn't watch anime with me, you know? So, like, it's one of those stories. It's one of those movies that I think I think anyone can enjoy Your Name. I think you can show it to anyone, and they will understand it, even if it's animated. It is one of the best animated films ever, because Makoto Shinkai has insane animation in his films. Because of like so much attention to detail, and
it's so good.
The lighting effects.
Detail is insane, and the light. Yep, so good. It's so good.
Lighting effects, the revolution in lighting effects over the past like 7 to 8 years has been a game changer for anime, especially when you saw it in movies, but you're seeing it more in actual TV series now. It's a sweet series. It has insane lighting, fantastic animation, and really just understandable characters. It goes a lot of places that I think are really fun. I highly recommend it to anyone. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna say Konosuba really quickly. Konosuba is one of my favorite comedy anime. It's an isekai, but it's an isekai done right, because it kind of just makes fun of all isekai.
All I know about Konosuba is I believe there's like a is that where the explosion little wizard girl is?
Yeah.
I want to see it so bad.
It's so good. This is actually the one series I insist on people watching the dub for, because it's such a good dub. Like they do a great job dubbing this anime. I kind of insist on that a lot with a lot of comedy anime, like straight comedy anime. I think the dub cast is exceptional. The comedic timing is amazing, and also by being able to just listen to the dub instead of focusing on subs, you get a lot more of the visual jokes and visual impact here. It's very unconventional for there's also a Useless Blue thing. It's kind of got unconventional humor for anime, because it feels like really high quality Western humor in a lot of ways, to be honest.
Okay.
It doesn't feel as much like typical anime humor, though it does have like typical anime humor in there. It feels like really, it feels different. It just feels really different, and it's one of my favorite isekai out there because like, it's the comedy of the situation that they're put into, and how everyone in the team is completely useless and stupid. Every single one of them is useless and stupid.
I love that.
It's perfect. It's perfect. There's an onslaught of flying cabbage, and that's like when I knew I'd love this series. It's very Western. Yeah. I love it. I love Konosuba. I highly recommend people check it out. It is one of my favorite series, and I think just if you're gonna check it out, I recommend trying the dub. If you don't feel the dub, go to sub. But I recommend trying the dub because I love the dub cast for this. For sure. They do a great job. And this they nail in voice inflections in the deliveries. But anyway, this one's pretty quick. Have you seen My Hero Academia?
I have.
What do you rank it?
I'd say where I'm at now, because I have not finished. I'd say like A or B, because I'm at a pretty good spot.
I would say I'm gonna put it in B. It doesn't have like I think it's a really great shonen series. It's a really fun shonen series. It does a lot of really cool things. And it's one of those series like with Demon Slayer we were talking about. Like it is one of the better paced anime out there, right? That it understands pacing better and it corrects the previous wrongs of series like Naruto and One Piece and Dragon Ball, where its pacing is really good and gets to what you want to get to faster. But I'm gonna put it in B because this is another one of those series that kind of just leave me feeling lacking in ways, unfortunately.
Right.
I wish it didn't, but it does. I can't.
I think it's getting to that point for me because I actually I stopped at like a very peak part. So I think like when I start the new season, like it started to slow down, and so I think like as I continue, that's what I hear is it kind of slows down before building up again. There's one that has like 6 episodes of all just like one like fighting arc, like training sequence that I just was really bored with. I think My Hero Academia is good, but like I don't know. It doesn't live up to its hype, to be honest. And like there is some weird things in the ways that this is also a series that does not treat its female characters well. None of them have good stories. Yeah. And the fact that not very good motivators too.
The fact that the creator identifies himself with Great Purple Head. I don't remember his name.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah. I don't remember. I know it begins with an M though.
Mineta.
Yeah. That's
right. Because the creator identifies himself with that makes me feel a little skeeved out with a lot of things on there, to be honest. Like I'm gonna be real about that. And it kind of just shows in the series. I don't know. Okay. No Game, No Life. No Game, No Trash. Good. Have you seen No Game, No Life?
I have not.
Trash.
I've been recommended that one too.
Trash.
Really?
Yeah, I say it's trash. I don't like it. It's another isekai. I think there's some weird moments in that series. It's not for me. I think other people enjoy it. I don't really want to get into it too much. It's trash.
Okay.
Yeah. Kill la Kill.
I'm gonna put it in B because as there's like a lot of creepy stuff that goes on in it, but I actually really like the animation and the music.
I think this is like one of the first like actual Studio Trigger anime because like this is like after Gurren Lagann, like they actually formed Trigger. I love the style of this show a lot. I love the humor, especially in the first half. I don't know. There is a lot of weird stuff that happens with it, and there's a lot of fan service that gets really weird.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's like, was that really necessary? Not really.
No,
it didn't need to be
wasn't.
like that. No, So it goes to B. What the hell is this series? I feel like I've seen this, but I don't remember what it's called. So I'm gonna put it in not seen. Because I can't even like make out what it is. I don't know what this anime is either. I have not seen Haikyuu. I want to. I haven't seen it. Don't know what this is.
From what I've seen so far,
yeah.
very good.
Very good. Okay, so Ghosty puts it up there,
itself up.
but I'm gonna put it down here because I have not seen it. Death Parade.
I haven't seen it.
I like Death Parade a lot, actually. I'm gonna put Death Parade in A. Death Parade's also one of those series that's very, I think, kind of, it's very episodic, and it's one of those kind of series that I wish kind of got higher quality adaptations more, which is series that kind of like deal in like the story of some characters and like moral quandaries that they deal with, or they go through in life, and like those character stories, and like is this character stories after death, and like they play a game about who goes to heaven and hell and all this kind of stuff, and I like the series a lot. I think near the end it kind of gets, I would put it in S, but like I think near the end it does this thing a lot of anime do where it kind of just loses itself, and like it has like a train of thought, and the train just drifts off the tracks and floats into the air, and it's gone.
Oh no!
The thread is gone. We've lost the thread of this show. But yeah. What about Devil's a Part-Timer?
Ooh, I enjoyed that one.
I did too.
Go ahead.
I'm putting an A.
Yeah, I was gonna put it in A or B.
Yeah.
Like high B or A.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was fun.
I think if you tell anyone concept, okay, so it's Satan and he's working in a McDonald's. That's how it was pitched to me. Sold. Also, I have seen Mishishi.
Or in this case, it's Whack Donald's.
Whack Donald's.
I think, right? Isn't it Whack Donald's?
Yeah. And actually, it reminds me in Toradora, they go to a place called Shoto Bucks, where it's like, I think it's like a Japanese political figure, instead of like the mermaid. And like one of the characters comments, "How hasn't this place gotten sued yet?" I love that. I love that anime does that, to be honest. Yes, I have seen Mishishi. I love Mishishi. It's not on this list, unfortunately. If it was, I would put it up in S because I love that series a lot. I think it's got a whole mood that I love. And that when I was actually in Japan and in the mountains in Japan, that I was just like, it feels like Mishishi. I love this. Anyway. But yeah, I love Devil's a Part-Timer. It's a funny series. It is the greatest reverse isekai, because like it's a magical person coming to our world. Yeah, I love it. I think its reliance on its concept kind of wanes a little thin near the end, which is why I wouldn't put it in S. But like I think it's a really funny series. It's another series like if you thought Devil's a Part-Timer is funny, I think you'll find Konosuba to be really funny, to be honest. I think they have pretty similar humor. I love both of them. I think they yeah, I just think they're really fun. I don't have a lot more like really in-depth thoughts on that. Other than that. Okay. On this bottom list here, what do you think you've seen? I think there's One Punch Man. Yeah. And there's Dragon Ball. I've been saving Dragon Ball for a little bit here. We could talk about Dragon Ball if you want.
We have Dragon Ball. I've seen Psycho Pass. I've seen parts of Madoka Magica. I've seen.
I don't know what this is.
I don't know which Dragon Ball that is. I can't tell.
We'll say it's all of Dragon Ball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball is just a fun series. That's all I have to say about that. It is a fun series. You can work to it. You can vibe to it. You can do whatever you want to it. It's fun. That's my ranking. I don't know where it would fall on the list, but it's fun.
I'm putting it in S. I think a lot thanks to the stream. Yeah, no problem at all. I've been having a fun time with this. But I put Dragon Ball in S mainly because I think it's cultural value, both to us as Westerners and I think just to anime in general. No problem, Xana. Have a great one. Thanks for stopping by and engaging in the chat. I'm gonna put it an S because I think its cultural relevance sticks through, especially through Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball GT has problems, and I need to watch Super. I haven't seen that. I know you love Super, but I haven't seen it yet.
The beginning is bad. Skip the beginning. I'll tell you where to start.
Please do, because that's one reason I didn't watch it to begin with, is because like, oh, it's recapping the movies.
Yep.
I'm gonna wait, and then I just never came back to it. Life happened, and I just never went back. It's actually kind of the story with One Piece also. I hate that I'm putting it over One Piece. I kind of feel like I should put them together, to be honest. But I'm gonna put. I'm gonna bring One Piece up for myself.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it in low S because of pacing. But like, I think both of these are like culturally significant enough to be up here. Naruto doesn't get that. Naruto doesn't get it because I think Naruto does have actual flaws as a series. These series are both legitimately enjoyable series to watch. And I think marathon moding the DVD collection of Dragon Ball Z is one of my favorite experiences as an anime viewer ever.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. This is one of the things that I wish was just in more things. The Dragon Ball Z DVDs have marathon mode, which cuts ending credits, outros and intros, and any kind of wrap-up stuff. It cuts all of that out, so it's just one continuous thing throughout the disc, but for all episodes. And it makes the series
so nice.
fly by so fast. I wish One Piece had this, because it'd make the series so much easier to get through. What's to be said about Dragon Ball that hasn't been said? It's iconic. The fights are fun. Goku's ridiculous and stupid, but it's dumb, but it's fun. You know, what's complex to be said here? Okay. What are your thoughts on what you've seen of Madoka Magica?
It's fucked, to put it lightly.
Yeah, I'm gonna put an A.
I think the fact that it's a twist is kind of cool, but like, it's I haven't seen enough of it to formulate a good opinion. I think I've only seen the worst parts of it, if that makes sense, or the most traumatizing parts of it.
Yeah, I think there's some parts of it that like lean it to. I think this is one that kind of Goku, the original himbo. Goku is the original himbo. Goku and Yamcha, original himbos. Madoka Magica, I think hinges between A and B for me. And like I kind of put it in like an A minus, but I'm gonna put it in an A because I think it's like, I think it does enough interesting things and interesting kind of like ways of approaching magical girl stories that I think it's an A for me, because I think it does enough that I find interesting to put an A.
I'll give it another shot then, because I think I only started watching a little bit of it when it super blew up like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I haven't rewatched it in a bit, so maybe I might bring it down. But yeah, from what I remember, I'm gonna put it there. By the same creator, though, by the same writer as Madoka Magica, Fate Zero. While I put Fate Stay Night, Dean Stay Night in C, Fate Zero is an S anime for me.
Damn, okay.
Yeah. Gen Urobuchi. I think Gen Urobuchi's writing talent is put so much, like, even better than Madoka Magica, it is put to its full extent in Fate Zero. What I was criticizing about Fate Stay Night is I like the concept of Fate Stay Night. I like this idea of having ancient mythological characters be resurrected or like become familiars and fighting. I love Smite. Of course, it's something that's going to appeal to me, right? And like a lot of the characters in that are in Smite. I'd love if they did a collab. I swear to God, all my money. Anyway, they have King Arthur and whatever. Anyway, so Fate Zero takes the parts that I hated about Fate Stay Night, which is like Shiro being dumb, stupid, characters not having any kind of like payoffs to their moments, and like everything kind of feeling surface level. And Fate Zero just does completely the opposite. Everyone in this show is an adult, right? None of these characters are teenagers. It is not a shonen series really at all. I'd say it's more of a seinen series. these characters are adults, and they're adults who understand the corruption of the world, and they themselves are corrupt, and it's them having an all-out fight for a lot of philosophical reasons that they get into and drill into, and I think are really interesting about why they feel the way they do. But like all the characters are a lot more morally gray, where it gets to points that I'm not quite sure where the series is going to go, and I love that, you know, because I don't know. I came into Fate Zero not knowing anything about anything Fate, which I think is the best way to approach it, to be honest. I've heard people who love Fate Stay Night say that's not true. I don't care. I experienced it. Experiencing it the way I did was the best thing for me, I think, because if I watched Fate Stay Night, or if, God forbid, if someone made me play through a visual novel first, I don't think I'd enjoy it as much. Diving right into Fate Zero, it's UFO table too, so its animation's insane. Like it tops out on animation quality. It has some of the craziest fights out there. Each of the characters have very understandable reasons for being in these fights, except for one person who's just evil. But like, there's a lot of the characters have understandable reasons why they're involved in what they're involved in, and like real human flaws. And like the humanity that's given to each of these characters feels very unanime. You know, it doesn't feel like a shonen anime. It feels more like something like what I loved about Berserk, which is like the nuance in each character, and what they're going through and how that's interpreted through the story and the conflicts that they go through. And also like that has one of my favorite himbos in all of anime, which is Iskandar, which is Alexander the Great. He's a huge himbo. If you love himbos, you're gonna love him.
I do love me some himbos.
I highly recommend Fate Zero, Ghosty. I think you'd like it. Yeah. Someone who read the Fate visual novels, hated them, and then tried to watch Zero, you're probably right. Yeah, I probably am. I don't think I'd enjoy the visual novels, to be honest. Fate Zero, though, is like an original story by the creator of Madoka Magica, who came into the series making like just wrote a book, and like they adapted the book. I think it's really well done. I think the way it also approaches the flaws in each of these characters and like their philosophy in life, not just the characters like the summoners, like the people who summon these mythological characters, but also the mythological characters themselves, getting into their problems and like the way they view duty and like being kings or like being conquerors, the way they live their lives. I think it's just really interesting. They have some really fun conversations that really have stuck with me. So I highly recommend Fate Zero. It's one of my, it's great work.
I might do that next week.
Yeah.
That's like extremely high praise.
Yeah. I love it a lot. So to go with that, Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works is also a UFO table adaptation of the series, as opposed to Dean Stay Night, because Studio Dean is kind of incompetent and fused a whole bunch of the storylines together. Unlimited Blade Works did not do that, which is why I put it in A, mainly because its animation and its ability to adapt it to a more engaging plot. It still has the flaws of like Shiro from being the main character and him sucking still, but they elevate the other characters, and it feels like they have actual payoffs and great fights. So I'd put it as an A. There's not much else to get into there. It's not the most noteworthy series here. It kind of leans towards, again, maybe being a B, but for its animation and for its production, I put it an A. Unlimited budget. What about Clanad? Have you seen Clanad?
I have not. I know. I haven't seen anything.
No, you've seen a whole bunch. Don't worry about it. I only saw Clanad recently. If it was just Clanad, I'd put it in D. I didn't find it that interesting. If we're just talking about Clanad After Story, that's an S. But if we're talking about both together, that's in B. The original Clanad I didn't find very engaging. Clanad After Story is insane and crazy and takes you on an emotional roller coaster. But you have to watch Clanad to understand it. And I think Clanad is a D anime on its own. So.
Oh God. Okay.
It's like you have to wade through like 20 or 30 episodes of like an okay-ish to bad anime that's like cute, but I didn't find really engaging, to get to like a really interesting series. But like that's such a commitment, so it's a B. It evens out to being a B. Psychopaths.
I like Psychopaths. Well, actually, correction. Season 1, S tier or A. Psychopaths as all of its seasons, maybe C. The first one was excellent, and it should have just been a standalone, I think, as that.
So
personally,
the thing for me is I've only seen season 1.
Okay, don't watch anything else.
Yeah,
don't watch anything else. I'm serious. Like, it's S tier on season 1. It's so good.
I agree.
I'm for your own sake. Do not watch it anymore.
We will pretend nothing else. Psychopaths does not exist past what I've seen, and what I've seen is S. Because I think its world is really interesting, and the way that it interprets like trying to criminalize thoughts, right, or like behaviors.
Yeah. It's like
before you've done anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's like it's kind of like a more I think it's like a more interesting version of Minority Report, right?
It is. That's kind of the comparison that I was thinking of as well. And I like that there's a lot of nuance between good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the protagonists are essentially in like doing the quote unquote right thing by the law, but they're technically doing like a lot of wrong.
Yeah.
And the antagonist is technically doing a lot of bad shit, but also morally might be in the right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, oh god, who do I side with?
Because their society's fucked. And I think that's really it puts you in a really interesting perspective with that society. So yeah, Psychopaths S tier. I'm gonna motor through a few. Have you seen what's it called? Assassination Classroom.
Oh god, I think I have, but I don't remember any of it.
S class,
I know that
B
sounds
tier.
so bad.
No, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a good anime. It's like a sci-fi version of Great Teacher Onizuka, which I don't think you've seen Great Teacher Onizuka. I think that was on your non-watch list for your tier list, right?
It was not. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Great Teacher Onizuka. That's a great anime. I'd put it in an A if I was on here. But for this being like a sci-fi version of it, that has some good moments, but I put it in a B. I don't really want to get further into that. I don't really have much else to say on it. What about My Little Monster? I don't remember a whole bunch about, so I'm putting it in C. Terror and Resonance, I'm going to put in B. Again, it's not one I don't remember a whole lot about, but I thought that the political story of this was interesting, I think, because it's about some terrorists that do terrorism.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a weird anime story. I think people should give it a shot, because maybe you'll get more out of it than I did. I'm gonna put it in a B, though I did find it really engaging as I was watching through it, but it just hasn't stuck with me after finishing it, you know. Okay, and Love, Chinibyo, and Other Delusions. What do you think about that? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen that one.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen many of the ones left. Let me see.
Yeah.
I can't. It's hard for me to see the actual titles, so you're gonna have to.
So,
I mean, Soul Eater I've seen.
Yeah. So we got Beyond the Boundary, Two Things in Noragami season 1, season 2, Violent Evergarden, Re:Zero, One Punch Man, and oh my god, I know this series, Dead Man Wonderland.
Okay. I have seen One Punch Man. I have seen Soul Eater. I think that's it for the rest of them, unfortunately.
Okay, I can rank these remaining ones really quick.
Sure.
Dead Man Wonderland. I did a video recommending this, and I do recommend it because I think it's an interesting anime, but it's a B tier anime for me. Dead Man Wonderland is fun. It's got a crazy world and people got blood powers. It's one of the first anime that came back with Toonami, and I thought it was really I was engaged with it the entire time. But it's also, I wish more of a story got adapted, because it kind of just leaves you hanging, and parts of it are a little weird. Like one of the main characters' designs is she's in a bodysuit that kind of makes her look nude. She's not, but it kind of makes her look, I don't know, it's weird. The thing on second watch that I enjoyed about it is, after seeing Devilman Crybaby, there's a reference to Devilman in this series, though they don't call it Devilman.
Really?
Yeah, there's one part of the series where there's a character at the end of it who's they did this adaptation of this anime, and of this manga, and in the manga version it was really fucked up, but in the anime version they really kiddied it up and made it weak, like they did with like the original adaptation of Devilman, the Devilman series, and like it was like I think the like series creator was writing his own frustrations with the Devilman adaptation in this series, which I thought was interesting. He just has the character just rant about Devilman, the original Devilman anime kind of sucking, which I thought was weird, but also kind of interesting. It doesn't really affect my score at all, but it's something I just wanted to point out. Noragami, I'm going to put as a B. I know a lot of people love Noragami a lot. I have no strong feelings towards it one way or the other. Where did it go? I don't know where it went. I'm going to put it in a B. Yeah. Kind of good. I don't know. Not much to write home about. ReZero, a better isekai. I'm going to put it in an A because it's one of my favorite. It's an isekai I enjoy, which is a stretch. It has a death loop mechanic that I find interesting because it makes every death feel horrifying and painful. Violent Evergarden is a KyoAni production. I can't recommend enough. This is an S tier anime for me. It's on Netflix. I highly recommend you watch this, actually.
Okay.
Violent Evergarden is about a person who was like, she was trained for war, and like it's her life after the war. She's disabled and has like robot hands, but she's like become a typist, and it's her trying to adjust to the life of being a normal citizen after this. And there's a lot of really great episodic stories. It's really sweet, thoughtful, and heart-wrenching at times. It's not a sad series though. I think you should watch it. You'd enjoy it.
Yeah. I think it's on Netflix. You said, right? I think I've seen it on Netflix.
It's on Netflix
or Hulu. One of them. Yeah.
Beyond the Boundaries, the C anime. It's not bad. It's not good for me. I don't know. I never quite got the appeal. Soul Eater.
That's the wait. No, that's the is that the Blood Sword one?
Yeah, that is Blood Sword one. That's the Blood Sword one.
Okay.
Is Violent Evergarden finished? Yeah, I think it's finished, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Soul Eater. What are your thoughts on Soul Eater?
C or D?
C or D? Yeah. I'm gonna go D.
The power of friendship.
There's just this is a horny ass anime. And the series creator's other anime, which is Fire Force, has the same fucking problem. It's like there's an interesting aesthetic, there's an interesting world. I kind of want to get involved in it. Why is it so horny?
Yep.
Why are all these characters randomly getting groped? Maybe stop doing that. I don't know. Okay. But lastly, One Punch Man.
I love One Punch Man, but I rank it below Mob Psycho. I liked Mob Psycho better out of the two. Yeah. So I think whatever one rank lower than wherever Mob Psycho is.
I'm gonna put it in S. If I had an S plus, I'd put Mob Psycho in that, and I'd put One Punch Man below. Because I agree. I think One Punch Man is.
It's so fun, and I actually really love it. But it does Mob Psycho 100. Oh, I kind of like it how you have it here, where it's like Mob Psycho's at the top part of S, and then One Punch Man is at the lesser part of S. Because it's such a fun series, and what I loved about it is how like goofy it was, and I loved the concept. But Mob Psycho just like did it for me more, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard it's hard not to compare the two series because like they have such an inexplicably tied narrative, right? Like they're
similar style, same
creator. It's about an OP character who's underwhelming. The reasons for being underwhelming, I think the reasons that the characters are boring looking or like boring feel like they feel bored in their roles. I think for Mob Psycho is more engaging in that because it's more of Mob intentionally trying to kill his feelings in order to control himself. And like there's a really good reason why Mob is the way that he is, as opposed to One Punch Man where Saitama is just kind of bored.
Yeah.
which isn't as compelling. And like it's a funnier, I think it's a really gaggy series. It's really funny. But like the punch, and it does a lot to make sure that the punchline of him always killing someone in one punch doesn't get stale. Like, because it doesn't get stale to me. Because they have so many other jokes and so many other things that they parody and work with, and other characters like even that they just legitimately build up as being interesting, right? But and its action is insane.
They just have really fun NPCs. Oh, what is his name? The bike hero. I love him.
I think it's do they just call him Kamen Rider because it's or Mugen Rider?
Yeah, something like that. But I love him, and he's just like a normal ass dude on a bike who tries to do his best, and I'm like, that's so nice.
Yeah, Mugen Rider. Who doesn't love Mugen Rider?
But he's like the least skilled out of all of them. He's just a guy. He's just a little guy.
He's just a dude
on a bike. That's it.
He's just like, look at me, I'm on a bike. I'm just a normal dude.
I'm a hero, but everybody loves him.
Everyone loves him. He deserves the praise. He
does.
He tries so hard. And I think I also just kind of love that like Saitama as a character who hates who's just kind of like dumb with everybody. I kind of enjoy characters who are like that.
I think Moomin Rider is also Saitama's first friend. I think, which I like too.
Yeah,
he's just a good ass dude.
Yeah. Him and Gino. Yeah. I think he'd be more an actual friend because I think his relationship with Gino-st, I think they are friends. They grow to be more friends later on, but I think at that time they more have like a teacher-mentor relationship. It doesn't feel like they're on the same level. Yeah. Where he does feel more like that with Mugen Rider, or Moomin Rider, but whatever. But yeah, great series. Just a little lower than Mob Psycho. But hey, that's the tier list.
Oh, that was fun.
That was fun. That was a lot of anime.
That was, yeah.
Oh man, just a little over 3 hours. Just a minute over 3 hours. Oh man, thank you for sticking with me through this. This is a lot of fun to talk about these series.
It was, and like getting the different opinions. I do like that we have the same pace in trash tier, and
yeah. Trash. I think this is a really fun thing. There's just a lot of anime I'd like to add to this list, but like this is I think this is like a top 100 anime tier list. And I think this is a pretty representative of the top 100, even though I have not seen all of these series down here. And I don't think I'm ever going to watch Bleach. I'm sorry. I don't care enough.
It's not worth it. I mean, if you watch the first season, that's all you got to do. And then nothing else matters because he turns into a Mary Sue.
If there was one series I would add to this, it's Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yes.
Which I would put as S tier. This is one of my favorite anime of all time.
I love it. It's one of my favorite anime of all time, too. Like, actually. I have a lot of it on VHS, actually, because I'm old.
Yeah, it's like I think I know people love Hunter x Hunter, same creator, but like I think Yu Yu Hakusho is the. We were talking earlier about how Demon Slayer is the perfect synthesis of like shonen anime, and I think Yu Yu Hakusho is also that for 90s anime, 90s shonen anime.
I agree.
It is nailed down to a point. The like. Forged in a volcano, best refined fucking shonen anime of the 90s. It does all the things that all the other great shonen anime of the 90s do, but it does it compactly. It does it without any. It does it with little to no filler, and it does it with every arc is amazing. And I also just love how Yusuke's just a fucking asshole.
He is, but it's great. He just kind of sasses people to death sometimes.
He's amazing.
He's like, yo, sassy one-liner, spirit bomb, let's go. Or whatever, spear gun.
Yeah, it's like opposed to every other shonen protagonist of that time, like, who's like, happy-go-lucky, I'm friendship, or like whatever, like, they're like happy-go-lucky stupid idiots. Yusuke is a stupid idiot, but he's just really... He's also an asshole.
I love Kuwabara too,
Oh
because
my
he's
God.
also an idiot.
I love Kuwabara. I love how both of the humans are dumbasses. And then Kurama and Hiei are also there, who understand what's going on.
Well, that's the thing, right? Yusuke
Yeah.
is like an asshole and a himbo. Kuwabara is just a himbo, and Hiei's just an asshole, and then Kurama's just this polite babysitter of Hiei.
Kurama's the sensible one.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna marry any of them, it's gonna be Kurama. But like, you know,
that's right.
Kurama or Kuwabara, I guess, because Kuwabara is sweet.
He is sweet.
I love them all. They have such a great their group dynamic as a foursome is perfect. Like,
it is perfect.
I don't think any other series has like a core group dynamic that plays off of each other as great as they do, because they each fill their own certain role in the group. And they all feel like they play their parts perfectly. Also, amazing 90s anime action, like animation. Like, it looks beautiful. I love that style that they use. I miss it. The dub is great. I love the English dub for Yu Yu Hakusho, because I feel like there's so much sass in Yusuke's adaptation that they add to him. Like, one of my favorite lines is like when Yusuke comes back to life in the beginning of the series. He's like, "That guy has horns. Well, that's not normal. None of my business, though." I'm not gonna let that ruin my day.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
He's just like, that guy's a demon, but I'm too tired for this.
Yeah, I don't need this.
I love that. I love the series so much. That'd be the one thing I think is missing that I'd put in my top of S. But yeah, this was great. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
This is really fun. Follow Cold Connor Complaints. He's
a
good dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
That's about it.
Yeah, be sure to check out TinyGh0st if you have not done so. Guests? What did I put it as? There it is. Guests. Okay. Check out TinyGh0st. She also streams on Twitch. She's great. Join her Discord. Join her community. Very funny. Very great streams. I loved I stole this tier list idea from you because I thought it was a really great idea. That's why I also invited you on. But this is a really great conversation. I'm really glad we had it. So yeah, when do you have a schedule you want to tell anyone about, or like just follow you?
I guess, yeah, just follow. Generally it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at 7 p.m. my time.
Right.
EST.
Eastern. Yes.
But yeah, so any day Connor isn't streaming, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah, actually. That works out pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look to who we're gonna raid. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I'm gonna double check here. Yeah, we're gonna raid the himbo himself, Yoshinam.
Let's go.
Let's go raid the dummy,
the boy
and his Minecraft adventures. Raid Yoshinam. The channel's intended for mature audiences. Okay. All right. What? If anyone missed anything from this, you want to catch the VOD, I do have a VOD channel, which I think is in the all my links thing below this. If you want to check that out, you can check that out. But yeah, thank you all for coming out here. Thank you, Ghosty, for joining me. This is a really great time. And I'll see you all on Tuesday when we do things. We're probably going to play Fortnite or something. I don't know. Because Naruto things got added to Fortnite, so I'm trying to get King to play it.
Yay!
Yay! Okay. All right, we're going to raid now. If you have my emote, my cold heart emote, just spam that. But all right, off we go to adventure.